All right, you ready to take these guys to Rimuru Church? Ladies and gentlemen of the congregation. All right. Don't you live up in Colorado? Don't you live up in Colorado there, Shem? Get your crazy... You need to come over here and get your crazy mountain weather the fuck out of my state. No, all right. No. I'm absolutely grateful. I love snow. We had 7 inches of snow in Nashville. Mm-hmm. Oh, no. We know that feel because we usually get really, really cold and no precipitation. But finally, we got really, really cold and precipitation. We got 7 inches of snow. We got 3 inches last night and 4 inches today. So at least one person could hide their pee pee in the snow. I mean, technically everybody can. I wouldn't. I wouldn't if I were you. I had to go driving to the grocery store in this weather, which, keep in mind, this is unheard of for us. We don't get 7 inches of snow. It just doesn't happen here. So you get a light dusting and people here fucking can't do anything. They can't drive for shit. All right? They can't drive in rain and you want them to drive in snow, much less 7 inches of it. I drove to the grocery store, which admittedly wasn't that far from me, and my car skidded a couple times because there's ice under the snow. But I actually know how to drive in this kind of weather. So I stayed in my lane and nobody hit me and I didn't hit anyone else. Keep in mind, I had a front wheel drive and I still pulled that shit off. So I'm not dealing with four-wheel drive. I'm not dealing with four-wheel drive at the moment. So that's how it is. Hello. All right. So now that everybody's here, ladies and gentlemen of the congregation has already been done. So please open your holy books of Reamerism to chapter 4 because that's where we're at. Yeah. Did you get any snow, Moon? Oh, see, we got it. Bruh, you should have been here. We had 7 inches of snow yesterday. We got that is unheard of for Nashville, bruh. Yeah, you are. We got 3 inches of snow last night, and throughout the day, up until about 4 o'clock, 4 or 5 o'clock, it was continuously just accumulated snow falling. And so we got another like 4 inches of snow. At one point they were like, we're going to get a whole inch in like an hour. And I'm like, oh shit. Oh shit. Yeah. It took me half an hour to clean my car off. That has never happened before. Like, oh, the ice wasn't the problem. It was the snow. All the snow all over the place. All over the place. Like literally I had a stack of snow on top of my car about that tall. That's accumulation. Well, it was all over everything. Well, I had kind of a cake on. I had a cake on top of my car. I still technically have a cake on top of my car. Moon, do you want to see? Oh, I got that cake all right. Um, Also, Moon, I am you for tonight. I am Jesus. So, this once was water. Yes, indeed, indeed. Uh, if you would do me a favor and DM me directly, Shem, I don't have your number. Yes, I was actually going to send you. Oh, Caleb followed me on TikTok. That's cute. I was going to send you actual pictures. Yeah, I also told Robert to get his Iowa weather out of my fucking. I was going to send you pictures of my. Yeah, well, it's on my phone. Fuck you all. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Dude. Huzzah. Your digits, you say. Okay. These first two are from last night.
Yeah, Dave.
Yeah, Dave.
Yeah, Dave.
There it is. I knew it was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen. Somebody would redeem the fucking thing and it would constantly loop.
Yeah.
That's why I hate these things.
Yeah, Dave. Yeah, Dave. Yeah, Dave.
We can't hear Discord.
Dave.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, Dave.
Fuck.
Yeah, Dave. Yeah, Dave. Yeah, Dave. Yeah, Dave. Yeah, Dave.
Okay, you should now be able to hear it. Also, hey, guess what?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Was trying to get your attention to audio issues. Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You done fucked up, AA Ron.
Yeah. Dave.
Yes.
PDS Twitch. Sound
They care
alerts.
about
I'm
Shem
sad.
speaking. Shem speaking.
Properties.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get my water.
No, don't.
Yes.
You can't. I didn't say you could.
Oh well.
You said you could move.
Who said you could do these things?
I
Who
didn't.
said you could stand?
Oh, there he goes. Forever.
You motherfucker.
Dave.
Mm.
Yeah.
You motherfucker.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Mm.
Fuck this
What happened?
whole thing. Okay. The sound alerts is still being a bit of a bitch.
Mm.
Defaults. Yes. Refresh cache
Oh,
on
excuse
current
me.
page. Bam. Control that. Control that. Amen. Okay, sound alerts is not doing anything stupid anymore.
Mm. That's good.
I'm just gonna refresh the cache from now on and see if that fixes it.
The cash money.
Not that kind of cache, but yes, sure, why not?
Money,
okay.
money.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Money,
you see
money.
you see the pictures I sent you of what it looked like last night.
Yes.
Okay, now I'm gonna show you what it looked like.
It
this
is
morning.
very cold.
Now I'm gonna show you what it looked like this morning when I woke up. That was just last night. That was when it began.
Oh. Yeah, that's pretty thick.
Yep. And
That's
again,
fun.
again, that was this morning. It continued to snow for at least another 8 hours.
Jesus.
Okay, I'm gonna send you a really
Yeah.
dumb shirt that I have.
It'll be your dumb shirt now.
No, I'm not giving him that. That's mine.
Jesus Christ.
Right?
That's like
Look.
that's a perfect white elephant gift.
Yeah, hey, if you want to get one of those, I'll tell you where I got it. It's called tshirthell.com.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Sounds
oh,
appropriate.
No. Oh no, there's an even better one. There's a picture of a guy in a robe, and then you see like a blue stick pointed out, and then two legs coming out like this, and it's OBGYN Kenobi.
Oh, good.
Oh yeah.
Also, somebody quoted me saying, "Yeah, that's thick."
Get the water real quick.
There's also
Understandable.
instead of the rainbow, you see like a line of toilet paper, and it says "Shittles, taste the asshole." I'm like, God damn it, dude! There's some
It's the hot
wonderful
new thing.
shit.
People love eating ass.
No, this was back in the day. This was
Everyone
back
has
when
always loved eating ass.
this is back when W was president. You know.
Mm.
All right, guys. Like I said, open your books to page. No, never mind. Open your books to chapter 4. We're going to go ahead and get started. Also, for those of you who did not see it yesterday, including... I always
Jesus,
love
you okay?
fucking up that name.
Very good.
For those of you who didn't get a chance to check it out, I need to plug two things. Number one, yesterday I did a stream with the lovely Leafucci. And she joined me in... That sounded way creepier than I meant it to. But I did a stream with the lovely Leafachie. She was hanging out with me in call and watching as I played Alien Isolation and cried like a little bitch because you fuckers paid me to play it on hard mode. And then I gave you the ability to troll me with sounds from the actual game. All of which you had to pay bits for, except for one. One was free, and that was the only. But I had everything pulled up so I could see when you trolled me with that specific sound. So you weren't getting me with the vent sound. Fuck you. But yeah, if you want to check that out, it's over on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/RichieRobert16, or you can go check me out on my YouTube channel. And I just posted a bunch of stuff publicly on my YouTube channel, including us assholes playing Phasmo with the Christmas event where we got to shoot all the snowmen, some cyberpunk stuff, my Alien Isolation playthrough that I did. I was on Alien Isolation for a good little while. It was great. And then I would like if you would kindly join me here tomorrow on this channel. It will be my birthday. It's my birthday.
Happy early birthday.
Thank you. I'll be here. It will be my birthday, and I will be doing the final commentary / review for the slime episodes. So we'll be going through episodes 3 through 8 and talking about them. And I'll share a little bit of stuff about Slime 9 besides the small little sneak peek. I have my wine.
Birthday Eve, yeah.
I have my book.
I kind of have wine.
I have my wine.
Mead,
I have my book.
Wine.
I have my shim. It is time to start the reading.
Hello.
Shim,
Welcome to book club.
please begin for us on Slime Book Club.
Okay. All right. Chapter 4, The Red Purge. Hold on, there we go.
The purge.
Oh, Shim.
The armed. Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I did realize something. Keep in mind, guys, I am nice and buzzed. I haven't just had a cup of wine. I had a whole ass thing. You know those tall boy Mountain Dews?
You're
Those
at
tall
home.
boy
It's
alcoholic
fine.
Mountain Dews. I downed one of
Yeah.
those about 30 minutes ago. It just like all in kind of one long gulp. So yeah, I'm nice. I'm nice and happy right now.
Oh man, I got wasted, man. I got Scotch water right here, but it's without the Scotch. Fucking blasted. So fucking blasted.
Hydration is terrible for you. So I'm trying to picture who he could play. Can you do a gruff type of voice?
Who are you asking me? I think it depends. I can try. It depends on.
Moon knows why I'm asking this.
Like I'm trying to go as deep as possible. Like,
That's what she
I'm
said.
trying to think. With my voice, that's fucking terrifying.
No,
Why does she have my voice?
No, not with voice. She's like, I'm trying to go as deep as possible. I'm like, well, get all up in there.
Are you looking for like gravelly or just deep? I'm trying to think.
All right, hang on.
I guess like
I will give you an example. I will give you an example of the type of voice I'm looking for. Okay.
So it seems the prince has come back once again. How amusing.
It
Something like
appears
that.
The princess has returned to the ship.
I don't know. I've always liked
No.
like really cocky
Nope.
bastard
No.
villains. so-
Okay. I'm
Trying to
gonna go
think.
ahead and send you this image.
And remember,
this is the
we are
character. This,
remember with you before you answer this question, Shim. We are that we are thousands of feet in the air.
Thousands of feet in the air. Oh fuck.
For those of you in chat who get the reference, claps to you.
Oh. Who is this guy? He seems familiar.
Sounds so familiar.
Is he also thousands of feet in the air?
So like a gravelly voice or like a deep
something that would
gritty voice.
fit is something that you think would fit that character.
It seems that the agency has not. I don't know a single thing about this character, so I apologize if I got the things down or bad.
Nope, you already
you
got
just
it.
nail the
I
voice?
know.
sounds
I'm
like he
gonna
nailed the
get you.
voice.
I know where I'm gonna cast you. Yes,
Okay. Cool.
because I don't have
Just
talent
remember,
for
Shim.
everything.
Just remember, Shim, that we are thousands of feet into the air. And I'll stop making that joke now before it becomes too repetitive.
It's already
to
too repetitive.
Unless it's
it is
appropriate for the
already it is
situation.
already too
Yeah.
repetitive and not appropriate to the situation at all.
Trying to unstick your balls in public. How amusing. Sorry, I've always wanted to say something stupid.
Said that balls were a
Right.
weakness
No,
that's
and had his
wonderful.
removed.
How shameful.
How shameful.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
please begin the actual book.
Okay.
now. I'm sorry.
Okay, I will. No problem.
I thought we were, for some reason.
Yeah.
Gulp.
Okay, I was trying to do like the
You
Mortal
learn
Kombat.
the
Oh,
hard
no, no, no.
way.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Enjoy the climb back up, bitch!
I was like kind of flail. I can't go back any farther.
Oh, dude, we did. I'm so mad that we weren't able to get Connor with this last night. Not Connor, like Sea Dog VA.
Coño.
Coño.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, he's Coño. The
Yeah.
one that works for us is
Coño.
Connor. Anyway, no, we raided Distortion Devil last night, and I told everybody to do. We were doing a kingly raid, so it was my liege, my liege, my liege, my liege.
My lady.
Instead of
My
my lord, it was my liege,
My
my
liege. My
Stormtrooper,
liege.
Stormtrooper, Stormtrooper.
Yeah, what would you call? What would be
Stormtrooper.
the difference for Stormtrooper then? What would he say instead?
Dwarf trooper, dwarf trooper,
Dwarf Trooper?
Dwarf Trooper.
Dwarf Trooper.
Dwarf Trooper.
Dwarf Trooper!
Dwarf Trooper.
Dwarf
Dwarf
Trooper!
Trooper!
Da, 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 da,
All right,
Yeah.
Moon.
Yes.
Yes.
I am sending you all 5 files that I sent to Shem
Okay.
because now that they're on
I
Discord,
think I
I can
already
just
know who it was.
Do I get a file?
No, not
Yeah.
that. I'm sending.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, Sonic, you get a file too.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sending you the
Everyone gets a
pictures.
file.
Oh.
Mm.
died on your daughter's face last night. I love that.
Hush!
so-
I want
Hush!
that
Don't
shirt.
tell everybody. Don't tell
No.
everybody.
No. The stream.
Millions, or no, thousands.
Millions.
Thousands. Thousands.
Slaughter them like animals.
Thousands of
Like animals.
I'm sorry, Eddie. You're breaking
I
my
hate
heart.
sand. It's coarse and rough and it gets everywhere.
It's all in my pee-pee. Ah!
Remember,
God damn
this
it.
woman chose to marry this man who had just admitted to murder. Mass genocide, even.
Yeah.
To be fair, she didn't
Slut.
marry him at that point. She was already married to him.
Slaughter the Meng. The
No, no,
Womangs.
no.
No,
Like
no,
the
no. If they
Chillmangs.
wanted if they wanted a more accurate version, they would have the part where the pregnant Padme was beating the shit out of Anakin for daring to question her.
What?
That's reality. She's like, "What'd you say?
Yeah.
What'd you say, coño?
She's got the chancla.
You want to listen?
Fucking-
You want to listen to the Chancellor?
She's beating him with his own lightsaber.
It's like,
No, it's just a shoe.
No! She's beating him with no, just a chancla.
Yeah.
It's like the
Yeah,
most-
exactly. Just the
No, but she's
No, I got a better one. His metal arm.
no.
bro,
Right off.
bro, that's pretty
Just
metal.
tore it
Jesus.
right off
Bro,
and
bro,
started beating him with his own arm.
bro, that's pretty metal.
That is pretty metal.
It's full
Why are you
metal
hitting
even.
yourself, Annie?
Stop hitting yourself! Stop hitting yourself!
Good.
God.
Look what you did. Look what you did. You got me
I'm
in
not
on
sorry.
this.
Oh god.
I know
sorry.
you're not sorry. I know you're not sorry.
I'm never sorry about this. We have
Thank you,
fun with
Ryuma.
this.
Anakin, force chokes Padme. Padme. Harder.
Harder, Annie.
Harder.
What?
Fight it harder. Oh, okay. Okay.
That's
Back to the
probably
joke.
something.
Back to the
Okay,
joke.
okay.
No.
Oh,
Okay.
It's you ruined
made
it.
it
It's weird
weird.
now. You made it weird.
we should just start reading. It's all weird now.
You made
All
it
right,
weird.
Sonic, I sent
Okay.
you the images.
I did.
The night before is the first two. The morning after is the next. Okay, so basically, one of those pictures was taken at like midnight, and the other was taken at 10 in the morning, and then the final one is the T-shirt I have.
Stinking notifications from Twitch.
Why is your phone sticky? Why is your Discord sticky?
My guy. Ain't somewhere
Probably
else.
spilled some soda.
Why
No,
is
I
your
hate
video sticky?
Probably spilled some soda.
On my camera?
Moon, I'm about to make you a drink and stir it with my dick.
Listen, it's been cold. There's not really a whole lot to do.
That's true.
Okay.
That's
I
true.
have been actually drinking more lately. Last
Look,
week.
all I'm just saying, look.
Congratulations.
Guys, all right, ladies and gentlemen, here's the thing.
Huh.
It's cold outside. It's cold inside. Masturbation warms you up. That's all I'm saying.
It's true.
I'm just saying. Thermal expansion exists.
Thermal expansion.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Also, friction creates heat.
Also, it increases
they
blood
say.
flow.
God damn it! I'm so stupid.
If you can't stand,
We're
the
going
heat.
to hell, and you're all coming with us just for watching.
I already have a room.
Hi,
there, it's fine, no
Lady
worries.
Chan. I bet you're
already
regretting
checked in.
watching us now.
Hello.
Fuck.
I don't know if she's heard the rest of it.
I hope not.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, Lady Chan, I have to send you a thing. Oh no. Oh, that's the snow where you're at. Right now?
Ooh, someone subscribed.
Not right now.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
No,
Sith
it's
Lord
like
Revan
Revan.
186
I was
subscribed
just
with
showing
Prime.
that as a comparison.
Oh, hey,
Like,
Revan,
you have a
thank you for the
car.
prime.
Congratulations.
I saw
Thank you
the
for
Thanks.
30
Subaru in your
months.
Appreciate that.
thing.
Revan, thank you for the 30 months.
Very good.
Lady, I am sending you the picture of the shirt so you get to know too. It's stupid. It was over 10 years ago. I'm still proud of my decision. Don't judge me. It's funny.
Richie, I will say
Make
that
a
was
good gift for
4
a
years
lady.
ago.
Okay. I will
Yeah.
say this. I also have another shirt that's kind of about the same thing as that. It says if
Style,
I build
yeah.
it's the same vibe as that shirt. It says if I can
Same
build a
vibes.
computer, I can make you come.
Jesus. That's not wrong.
You're not wrong. Good with your
Dexterous
hands.
fingers.
Nice.
Good with your hand. Finger dexterity,
Yep.
man. You know how intricate you have to be
excuse me.
and precise
She
to
will
put that
judge.
computer together? Anyway, just saying.
Yeah.
Let us read.
Yeah.
You're
Okay,
getting
chapter
a full hour
4.
this time, buddy.
Okay. I will do my best.
Hold on. I have to
Mm-hmm.
go practice Rimuruism. I'll be right back. Please.
Okay.
read.
Okay. Chapter 4, The Red Purge. The armed nation of Dworgen's East City was currently weathering a blockade of up to 60,000 people, but it was all a cover. Beneath the surface, both sides had made it clear that they were allied. The commanders all taking great pains to ensure that no unfortunate accidents took place. With that in mind, the mood among the lower-ranked soldiers was light. Camping tents had been set up across the area, each filled with idle chatter. But there was still a modicum of tension shared by everyone, even the rank and file. That indicated the surprisingly high level of training every member of the army had received. It was no wonder that morale was high, after all. Their superiors were currently engaged in their final meeting, one where the dream of overthrowing the empire and building a new nation would come to a head. Everyone was looking forward to it, and everyone had their eyes on the capital in anticipation. That was why most of them noticed it at the same time. It's red. Is the capital aflame? What happened? Wait, did they find out? On this most critical of days, something was happening all over in the imperial capital, and nobody thought it was a coincidence. Everyone knew that something had happened to their leaders. Should we send out a recon team? No, we need to organize our troops and march. Don't be stupid. If we do that, it'll completely expose us as traitors. Having all their superiors away from the force meant there was no one to take command. The composite division, already derided as a motley crew in the best of times, quickly lost cohesion. The one who finally brought them back in order, was a person who had silently closed his eyes before then. His name was Zero, a man Yuki named as Corps Vice Commander, and he was the highest ranked person on the field. Silence. I will not allow anyone to act without permission. We will stay here and wait for Sir Yuki and the others to return. That will remain our policy. With Zero's declaration, those wavering in their opinions fell back in line. Nobody knew what the right answer was, so for now, they decided to follow orders. Not even that could alleviate the anxiety, and those anxieties came true in the worst possible fashion. Good evening, you oblivious fools. I know it's a lovely night tonight, but that doesn't mean you should all get too excited. The woman walked along the street totally carefree with the ease of a vacationing tourist. Was Velgrind. Her blue hair as beautiful as always. What? Who are you? The soldiers on the far edges of the street shouted at her. If she was calling out to uniformed soldiers, she couldn't have been an innocent civilian. And even before that, anyone who didn't recognize Velgrin's utterly unusual presence could never survive in the composite division. So they began confirming her identity, sending messages out to their superiors as they moved to surround her One soldier, a man with decent confidence in his fighting skills, stepped forward. Well there, lady. I don't know who you are, but I wouldn't be picking a fight with this many people if I were you. We may not look all fancy, but we're in the composite division, the strongest army of the Empire. It really is funny, isn't it? The weak calling themselves the strongest. I was willing to let it slide if it kept morale high, but perhaps we should have stopped allowing it at the division level. What? Velgren's words were those of someone at the highest reaches of society, someone giving orders from high or far above anyone else in the military hierarchy. It was more than enough for even the raw recruits to know they were dealing with someone dangerous. Zero, as vice commander, was no exception. When he heard this intruder was alone, he shipped himself over to see who it was, and once he heard the subsequent reports, he upped his pace towards the scene. Now Velgren was before him. Marshal! She had never seen the marshal's face, but the presence she exuded was undoubtedly that of the overwhelming figure seated on the other side of the curtain. So there are some more intelligent ones among you as well? Good. I was told not to kill all of you, but just to have some fun until Kondo and the others arrive. With that signal, the tragedy began. Gaza was having a depressing day. The war was still dragging along, which was a headache by itself. But more than that, Jane's report made him feel like his stomach was going to rupture. Making true demon lords out of those serving him. What could possibly have gotten into Rimuru? He heaved a heavy sigh. Calling them true demon lords was something of a misnomer. Demon lord was a title, not a species, and it literally meant a lord who ruled over monsters within a set territory. True demon lord, however, described the status of a monster, one awakened and evolved into that state. The threat they posed would be on the upper end of disaster class, but it wouldn't rate a calamity. Not that there are enough disaster class threats to merit dividing them into upper or lower classes, thought Gazel. The disaster class was essentially reserved for demon lords, so right now it consists of only 8 known examples. Now, however, Rimuru had people working for him who were at least as powerful as those high-end menaces. Just thinking about it gave the heroic king a headache. For now, Gazel sent a griping missive to Almesia about it. He couldn't stand to be the only one suffering, so he decided to have her share in the distress a bit. That, and his government decided to continue observing Rimuru and his band until further problems arose. It was just kicking the ball down the road, he knew, but there was nothing else they could do. If further problems ever came up, it'd be the beginning of a war for the survival of humanity. And I truly don't want that, Gazel sighed, but the bad news wouldn't stop coming. Urgent news, Your Majesty! The composite division is on the move! They're engaged in battle with an unknown enemy! The voice was calm, but Gazel sensed a panic atypical of his dark agents. But before more details came in, he immediately sent out word to assemble Dolph and the rest of his advisors. A few minutes later, no doubt about it, that enemy's nothing regular people can handle. It's a monster, an unimaginable monster who could even take down demon lords. A true dragon? Yeah, I've never seen one before. She took the form of a person, but there's no doubting her identity as Velgrind. Gazel was on a magical call to Vaughn, Admiral Paladin and Supreme Commander of Dworgen's military, who was currently stationed by the East City. He had him send visuals so everyone could grasp the situation. The worst-case scenario always happens when you least expect it, a fact Gazel was all too aware of now. The sky was burning, there was a woman, a cold beauty, and crowds of powerful soldiers falling around her. The flames were mesmerizing, but also vigorous enough to awe everyone who saw them. But the true horror only came after that. Velgren, visible through the surveillance crystal ball, looked over at Gazel and his team. He thought it was coincidence at first, but the moment he did, the crystal ball shattered. She was watching us, too? I can't believe it. How is that possible? You're kidding. How far away do you think we are from there? It's the truth. She must have sensed the magic and traced it back to the caster. But it's incredible to see her impacting the magic's destination as well. It'd be impossible for me or any other humanoid. Gazel listened to his advisors in silence. Based on this, they were clearly dealing with an enemy. But who? He couldn't possibly hear her, but it was like she was whispering, "No, don't you peep on me," into his ear. A true dragon. Or like a true monster. Now Gazel knew what the word strongest really meant. He was familiar with the rumors of a connection between the Empire and Velgrind. They had no way to confirm them, but he had played through enough scenarios in his mind so that they were able to withstand attack. Now, however, Gazel realized it was all just an illusion. It was unclear why the Empire had sent Velgrind on the move at this point. Gazel thought and thought, but he couldn't understand what Emperor Ludora was thinking. There was only one thing he could do. I'm going into battle as well. Your Majesty, bellowed Dolph. It's too unsafe. But there is no other choice, replied Jane. Abandoning Vaughn right now will do nothing to save Dworgen. You will need to prepare yourself too, Dolph. There was little Dolph could say in return. He had no intention of just letting Vaughn die. And as he realized, or he now realized, admonishing Gazel would do nothing to change the situation. I will make preparations to leave as soon as possible, said Dolph. Very good. Gazel gravely nodded and closed his eyes. They had a lot of work to do. All their allied nations would need to be informed, and they'd have to be given instructions on what to do with the remaining citizens in the area. If Gazel and his men were victorious, then great. But if they were defeated, what then? There was nowhere else for people to run to. No way of survival except to become imperial vassals. It meant the fall of the nation of Dworgen, and if Gazel wanted to avoid that, he couldn't afford to lose. The East City will not have enough room for our entire army, I imagine. I'll let the old guard handle command while the rest of the army marches on the ground. See to that for me, Jane. Very well. What do you intend to do, King Gazel? I'm going on ahead. If you're late to this, don't expect a place at the table. Gazel revealed a bold smile, playing the role of a strong king to ease everyone's anxiety. The army was to be mobilized as quickly as possible, but Gazel's group wouldn't wait for them. Dolph and his Pegasus Knights would be the king's only companions. As Gazel flew across the sky, a thought occurred to him. Is this why Rimuru gave his underlings all that power? So that they could survive this? If so, I have to say, he's as naive as ever. He laughed at this revelation, thinking about the ex-training partner that couldn't throw away his ideals. His smile was nothing he could hold back. Is something wrong, my lord? No.
As if Rimuru was
just
that
a passing.
clairvoyant.
For real.
Nah.
Is something wrong, my lord? No. Just a passing fantasy. I beg your pardon. Now, of all times, I started thinking about Rimuru. It made me wonder if things could work out this time, too. Gazel laughed. He thought he was being overly optimistic, but it beat the opposite end of the spectrum. Indeed, Dolph smiled back. It was the case with Cardi B as well. Lord Rimuru could simply... It's been a while since we've heard that name, so I had to. Lord Rimuru can simply boggle the mind at times. I was amazed at the connection he had with the Demon Lord Milim. Well, if you're going to bring that up, you should also mention the hardships I've faced monitoring him. People assuming that everything I report back to them is a lie is growing tiresome. Henrietta usually kept her mouth shut, but even she had some sass in her at times. Gazel and... she's probably working around the clock.
I mean, it is Rimuru we're talking about.
She's watching his internet
He's
history.
done some unbelievable things in his day, so
She's seen some shit.
How to name 10,000 orcs, and then bring one of them to True Demon Lord. That's his search history.
Yeah. How to make more friends.
How to name
that would probably
strays.
be in his history. Yeah, probably.
How to streamline naming.
Yeah.
How to make friends with monsters.
100
Pokemon.
easy names for orcs.
Male and female.
No, literally.
And non-binary.
No, it's just a list of baby names.
Name generator.
His whole search history is just a list of baby names.
How to
That would be
add
funny.
apps to artificial intelligence.
Well,
Bro, I cannot
Name
wait.
generator app.
Gabriel wouldn't let him do
.exe.
that.
I can't wait till we meet the orc named George.
George the orc. I love it.
George the orc.
Good.
George.
Henrietta usually
George
kept her
of the forest?
George of the forest. Watch out for that tree still applies.
Exactly. You knew where I was going with that.
That's how he
Yeah.
dies.
Yeah,
He gets
I
crushed by a
understand.
tree.
Yeah. Oh,
Like, George,
The tree
look
goes
out for
after
that tree! Smack.
Oh God.
yeah. Henrietta usually kept her mouth shut,
Jesus
but even
Christ.
she had some sass in her at times, huh?
I shouldn't have
What's up?
read chat. I saw Shion's OnlyFans, and I was like, God damn it.
Eh,
Yeah,
You know, some idiot actually
I
has
didn't know
that
she-
existing. Hi, Maximus.
probably more than
Hi.
likely.
Sorry,
Would she
continue.
not
Continue.
All
even
good.
do an OnlyFans?
Would you- No, I don't know.
If Rimuru
I mean,
asked.
if Rimuru asked, then yeah.
yeah.
If
We
it
need
was
extra funds.
requested, yeah, if it was requested by Rimuru, yes.
We need to raise money. Shion, shake your ass. On it.
Throw it back. Okay.
Throw it back. On it.
No, we're gonna get banned.
Shion.
So you too. Okay.
Yes, sir, Rimuru.
We're gonna get banned. What do you think this is? Twitch?
I was thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Where I
All
was
right.
going with that.
All right. Gazzo and Dolph couldn't hide their surprise.
No, it gets even better. She doesn't know how to throw it back. He goes, all right, pose like this and then act like you're throwing up a hairball, like a cat with a hairball.
Very good.
And that's how she throws it back, yeah.
Good.
Oh,
Amazing.
that's great.
He does the at the same time. She's like, no, you don't have to do that anymore. That's just for training.
You don't have to do the sound effects. You don't have to do the sound effects.
It really just ruins the mood.
It doesn't add to it.
It actually makes it worse.
It's worse.
Yeah.
It's so much worse.
Except for
good.
this very niche group, it's actually growing to make up for that somehow.
She starts doing. She's like, quick, Shion, do the cat with the hairball on it.
Very good.
There we go. All right.
I was waiting for it.
Yeah.
All right,
Yes.
there we go. Let's continue.
Gazzo and Dolph couldn't hide their surprise. Sorry. I'll try to avoid assuming that next time. Even you have some complaints about your job, eh, Henrietta? Of course I do! In that case, Henrietta, tell Rimuru the next time you see him. Why, he's a pain to me as well. I trust you too firmly, but Rimuru's behavior is simply too asinine to believe. When I heard the report from Jane, I began to question her sanity. It was one fearsome report, yes. Normally, I'm the one giving those reports, so it was nice seeing it unfold as a spectator this time. The venom Henrietta was spitting made both Gazzo and Dolph laugh. Voices echoing across the sky. I'm sick of looking at this goddamn history.
God
I'm
damn
sick
it!
of having to
You
clean it
report-
up.
Yeah.
God damn it! You report Rimuru's fuck ups this time.
Yeah.
And God
will-
only helping that he doesn't use a VPN.
Jesus. I don't think they have that at this point. I will mention that I've sent a report of
Wait.
our activities to Lord Rimuru.
Wait, hold on. A very
that?
pornographic network?
Ah.
Yeah, a very pornographic network. VPN.
Ah.
Oh.
It's how they get it. That's how they can make the Shion OnlyFan thing work.
Yeah.
It's where the
It's
titties
encrypted.
really come from. On
It's
the
a very exclusive group.
It's very encrypted.
It's where the booba on the internet comes from. It is the very
booba.
pornographic network. Yeah.
Mm.
Otherwise known as Orange YouTube.
You can find free movies on there.
Yes, you can.
And download all the music you want.
Yep. Well, maybe not the music, but
Maybe
anyway.
not the music. Anyway, moving on.
Anyway, Gazzo nodded and turned his head forward. The anxiety was gone. Oh, wait, hold on. I will mention that I've sent a report of our activities to Lord Rimuru, along with some measured complaining. Did you? Gazzo nodded and turned his head forward.
Fucking, I read Ryuma's
Yeah.
comment.
I
Shion,
saw
shake
it
that
too.
ass. Watches her violently shake the shit out of Benimaru. Not that kind of ass.
Kind of ass. That's the
I was thinking
wrong
like both
ass. Your own ass. How do I do this with my own ass?
She would say something like that.
She really would.
I mean,
Yeah.
she would.
I know. That's why I said it.
All right, continue.
But it'd be more, yeah.
Be more
Gazzo
innocent.
nodded and turned his head forward. Anxiety was gone now, replaced with his usual heroic flair as he flew towards the battleground. Going back in time a bit, it was the day after Almizia and my little drinking party. The sun was already way up in the sky. Up early, aren't you, Sir Rimuru? I'm sorry. Shuna's so scary when she's smiling. I decided to beat her to the punch with an apology. First, I get drunk, then I enjoy a little nap. I work hard to regain those luxuries, so I don't see why I have to be yelled at about it. So, did you come to a conclusion? She asked, staring at me as she sighed. About what? You were troubled about it last night as well, weren't you? I'm worried you're about to do something rash again, and I'm far from the only one. When she said that, I couldn't help but feel a little jittery. Don't worry, I'm not doing anything rash here. If it doesn't work out, I'll run. Then I'll bitch at Guy and make him do something about it. Or make him do something about it. First, though, I had to try a little. Hey, we'll figure it out, okay? I'll be safe with it, like I always am. My cheerful reply didn't remove Shuna's anxious expression. It's hard to fool her, what with her unique skill parser and all that. Or maybe it was too obvious to even require that. I mean, I didn't really want to do anything dangerous. I was taking a safety-first approach. But we had no idea about our enemy's strength. Lieutenant Kondo, Velgrin, and Emperor Ludora were fearsome opponents, no matter how you sliced it. Winning may not be a possibility, and for all I know, I might even be killed on the spot. I was trying to think of ways to avoid that outcome, and not even Raphael had an answer this time. If we don't know, though, we'll just go for it. My only choice was to throw in the maximum amount of war power I had to reduce the danger as much as possible. And so, I deliberated a lot over who I'd take with me. This time around, I'm going with my A team only. I'm sorry to say this, but if you don't have enough strength to pitch in, I think you're just going to slow us down. All right. My brother's been bragging all morning about how he's going with you. I suppose my thoughts were obvious from the start. I had been engaged with amnesia since the previous morning, so I didn't tell everyone about my conversation with Guy yet. But Shuna's smile seemed to indicate that she understood it all. I smiled back, realizing how there was never any tricking her. Then she gave me her report in her usual natural voice. That fishy little sneak Laplace slinked in here last night. He said he had a message for you, but he gave us no advance warning, so we've been keeping him waiting for the time being. Rather abrupt change of subject there, but it didn't seem like anything too important for me, or too important to me. If it was a real emergency, Ghidorah or someone would have contacted me, probably a message from Yuki, but what could it be? I guess I'll see him, although I'm not crazy about the idea. I'd much prefer to shoo him away, but he is an ally, more or less. I'll show him to a reception room. Shuna wasn't a fan of Laplace either. It looked like. That was rare for her. She wasn't one to be so frank about her likes and dislikes, but clearly those clowns irked her. I guess she couldn't ever truly forgive Laplace and his crew for destroying their ogre homeland. He and I were allies, but I need to keep that in mind. While I'm talking to Laplace, I ordered Shuna, I'd like you to summon all the cabinet staff who are awake to our meeting hall. I had a lot of things to talk about, but I could worry about them all after our war with the Empire was over. Banishing all doubt from my mind, I decided to take care of the immediate problem first. 20 people, including myself, were gathered in the meeting hall. There was Rigurd and the 4 elders beneath him, Rugard, Ragard, Rogard, and Lilina. I also had a Kaijin, Vesta, and Molimai on here. Representing the 12 lordly guardians were Benimaru, Shion, Diablo, Gabiru, Testarossa, Ultima, and Carrera. Soe, Hakuro, Gapta, and, for good measure, Ghidorah rounded out the pack. I planned to ask Ghidorah to guide me around the Empire. Even I had to admit it wasn't going to be an easy job, but honestly, he'd be the least affected out of us all if something went wrong. So I wanted him to play his part. Speaking of which, Bernie volunteered to guide us as well, but I rejected the offer. He kept asking for money. Anyway. Sorry. Kept asking for my financial support.
I am once again asking for your financial support for the
Empire.
Again?
Yeah. But I rejected the offer. He had lost all his powers, and he'd be nothing but a liability to us. Ghidorah alone would do. Anyway, feels like I was just having meetings all the time, but no point complaining about that now. Our country had grown too big for me to call all the shots myself. Of course, as I say that, this meeting's mainly about me dictating to everyone what I've decided to do, but still. As usual, Shuna served tea to everyone. Once she quietly left the room, I began speaking. I called all of you in here today to inform you about my decisions for the final battle against the Empire. Before that, though, come on in. I already decided who I'd be taking with me, so there was no point hurrying this. Instead, I decided to introduce Laplace, our messenger, to everyone. As expected, Laplace had news concerning our plans to fight together. The army blockading Dworgen's East City would be attacking the Imperial capital soon, and they wanted us to join them, basically. He had already told me about that, and I had no objections, but the conclusion I came to was that this would be a war between the elites on both sides, not a war of armies. I didn't want to see any civilian casualties, so in the end, I decided I had to discuss the details with Yuki first. That's why I chose to bring the clown into this meeting on short notice. I had already spoken with Yuki via Laplace. The date had been set for the following afternoon. This I explained to everyone in the room. I really wish Laplace could have done that for me, but people had a lot of trust problems with him. So I rejected the idea. Trust, I was reminded all over again, really is important. Hello. My name's Laplace, and I'm the vice president of a group of, helpful ladies and gents we like to call the moderate jesters. I'm here today because Yuki sent me, you see. Oh man, is it possible for him to not to act suspicious? And why did he choose this moment to dance a little jig to himself? But he was still here as a messenger, so I couldn't just boot him out. I wasn't the only one annoyed by this either, so it looked like he was about to kill him. Yeah, I did. I know how he feels, but you'll have to be patient.
Yeah, dude!
Yeah, he's just on the side. I know how he feels, but you'll have to be patient. Yeah. So I put the kunai blade away, please. Yes, sir.
Pouting.
He's got like a comically large kunai.
All right. Just like the size of a house.
At his neck.
Like he just
Please
brings
put that
it
away.
up slowly, put it away, fine.
Okay.
Like it's just one steady motion too. There's no stopping.
Yeah. Gotta be careful with him too. I see. He meekly sat down.
Hold on. Why
Hey,
is somebody
hold on.
telling me to drink fucking water, but at the same time there was no hydration redeemed? It was just
I
a
drank a little bit.
highlighted message.
Oh, I thought there was.
Was that
no,
from, like,
there was
earlier?
a posture
Okay.
check that was redeemed.
Oh,
Yeah, I saw the posture check. I didn't see the
I didn't even see
I
it.
did not.
hydration
Water.
redeemed.
I think they were just telling me because I was like,
Drink your
Lady-
water,
Lady-
damn it!
I love how Lady doesn't enter the call because she doesn't want to acquiesce to the demand she's making.
acquiesce.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Where am I? Gotta be careful with him too. I see. He meekly sat back down for me, but I couldn't let my guard down yet. Let's just get this intro over with. Yeah, so Mr. Laplace here is our point of contact for Yuki at the moment. Just Laplace is fine, you know. Oh, is it? Then great. Anyway, we set up a meeting with Yuki for tomorrow. It's a bit of a rush, I know, but Laplace is apparently going to transport me over there, so we don't have to worry about travel time. The main question at hand is, who's going with me? Finally, I got down to business.
Oh,
Mhm.
I know hydrate is not available. I did that on purpose.
So I can only carry up to 6 people in all. Assuming that you and I are must-haves, do you mind telling me the other 4 you bring along, Lord Rimuru? I wanted to deploy as much force as I possibly could, but even in the best case, I wouldn't have all my top people on hand. Ranga was still asleep in my shadow, and Geld had yet to wake up as well. The Labyrinth gang, Kumara, Zejian, and Adelman, had reportedly all holed up in their respective domains, showing no sign of stirring. The length of everyone's evolutionary slumber seemed to vary a lot. I guess that's just how the cookie crumbles, so I looked over who was available one more time. Benimaru, I'd like you to come with me. Appropriate.
Damn cookies and they're crumbling. Eh.
The chocolate chip ones, mind you.
I literally just ate those.
Nice.
Oh,
you were
still-
pre-gaming
actually-
for the stream.
I
Understand.
I
was.
actually
I
have
really
like
was.
the brownie-based ones
Very
in the
good.
fridge. I could heat up and bring out.
Go get those. Go get the brookies. Brookies are nice.
I'll do it. I'll go-
All right, continuing on.
Benimaru, I'd like you to come with me, but how are you feeling? What, does he have a cold or something? Laplace asked, a weary look in his eyes. I'm sure you'll find out soon enough anyway, but I wasn't feeling nice enough to explain it all for him. I'm feeling fine. Best shape of my life, actually. Benimaru flashed a heroic smile, retaining his coolness and completely ignoring Laplace. He's much more capable than I'll ever be. A fact that occasionally amazes me at times like this. I like to think he's coming over with like a pair of crutches and like his entire lower body's in a cast.
I feel
I'm feeling
amazing.
fine. The best shape of my life, actually.
Yeah.
And so he's like, Some
Don't
night,
look at me like that, Soe. What do you know about Snoo Snoo?
a fair chunk, actually.
Liar!
Fair chunk of my book. Where would you like me to start?
I'd like you to start on the fact that Soka hasn't gotten any from you, and she's been carrying that torch for a while. You fucking liar!
The book hasn't been revolved around me for a while, okay?
Why are you
I'm
talking?
just in the background.
Why are you writing a book about other people's Snoo Snoo, you creep?
I have free time off screen.
It's you fucking
know
stalker?
everything
No,
about me.
spying, not stalking.
Yeah, true. There's a difference.
There's a difference, exactly.
Yeah.
Spying, not stalking.
Yeah. I
Give
gave him a closer
Soka
look.
what she wants. She wants Snoo Snoo.
Yeah,
Well, he does have those clones.
that's true. She wants all that shadow clone up there. Never mind. I'm not gonna finish that.
Now the Shadow Gangbang no Jutsu has.
Oh God, I wasn't gonna say it. She.
But you were still thinking it, which is just.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm
All
sorry.
right, continuing
Anyway,
on.
Benimaru flashed a heroic smile, retaining his coolness and completely ignoring Laplace. He's much more capable than I'll ever be, a fact that occasionally amazes me at times like this. I gave him a closer look as I internally praised him, only to find out he had changed species while I wasn't paying attention. He must have worked things out with Omiji and Alvis, so to speak, and now that evolution was complete. In fact, according to what I heard later, Benimaru had spent 2 nights with each of his new wives in turn. I don't know if I should
of
congratulate him on weathering that, or just sit here seething in all my jealousy. See, it's canon. No.
All the above.
I come bearing cookies.
Yeah. Oh,
The
thank
funny
you.
thing is,
Hang on, I
you
can't
come
hear
in-
anything you're saying at the moment. Bear with me.
The funny thing is, he comes back bearing cookies and dressed like he's Obi-Wan Kenobi, not Emperor Palpatine. That's the funniest part.
Yeah.
You know what?
Hello
You
there.
want to ship me one? By all means, I'll give you my address.
Hello
Jesus.
there.
General Kenobi.
Look, these are the dark side cookies. Okay.
Sure. All right.
I'll
Just
get
because
one of
they're extra chocolate doesn't mean they're actually dark side.
those. That's true.
What if
Now
it's dark
he-
chocolate?
But, no, it still doesn't
Closer.
count because
Closer,
still-
but doesn't count.
Still doesn't count. The dark side burns their cookies.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Who-
they
like
were
it
what-
extra
damn.
crisp. Yeah.
You know what?
They were-
You know how I'm not dark
And
side?
cookie
Because
purgatory.
Vader
Drink milk.
Vader will only eat cookies that look like him after Mustafar.
That's an easy order to fill.
Burnt to a crisp.
Just throw it in Mustafar
And without
fitch
its
it out later.
limbs.
If the
Where
cookies-
would you consider the
Yeah,
limbs?
Cookie
hold on.
limbs.
If the cookies are screaming, "I hate you," then you've done your job.
I mean,
Just
you could
saying.
probably
Just-
write that in
just-
frosting.
Just, can I get those cookies
Yeah, you could.
boneless?
Okay, can I get a boneless pizza?
What kind of pizza you eating? Pizza got no bones.
Revan, we do not burn our cookies. All right.
Jesus.
First off, it's our, not our. Second.
Oh, you
Arr.
are.
Yeah,
Please,
yeah,
thank
yeah.
you.
Arr. Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
Yes, you do.
I need to let you know. I totally understand the annoyance now with hearing turret because my roommate says that unironically,
Mm,
and I'm sitting
Like
there
turrets.
like
like,
turret. It's fucking turret. Stop.
oh.
Now you
Oh, they're talking
understand.
about that.
fully
Okay.
understand.
Now
the
you
annoyance,
understand.
yeah.
Aha! We have converted him
turrets.
to our side, finally!
I mean, I'm still gonna say it to give you guys shit, but
Fuck
no,
you.
I understand the annoyance.
Guys,
turrets.
no. Guys,
I'm a troll.
I know,
What do I-
guys,
what do you
I
want?
know
A turn
how,
of water.
Guys, I know how it is
Oh.
that we're going to be able to pull off his recompense.
His recompense.
Mm-hmm.
He shall pay for his crimes.
In order to make recompense for his crimes, Moon, you're gonna have to play Alien Isolation.
No.
I don't have that game, but you know.
Oh, don't
Spooky.
worry, don't you worry. That is not a factor here.
Also,
Remember,
it's
some
gonna have to
people-
wait until I move out.
Once some people, no, it isn't. Once some people
Yes, it is.
realize, no, it's not. Hold on, I'll explain why. Once some people realize why it is that, once some people realize that you need to give hugs to Steve. Oh God, Revan said on Nightmare.
Mm,
Of course, I figured
he's
as much.
just a boy.
Wow, I mean, you're gonna have to throw a little extra money at that.
I'm a
one.
little
not
out of the
making him
loop
just
on
straight out
this.
do
What's going on?
Alien
Don't worry about it.
Isolation? He
I'll
is-
tell you when
I
you're
know
older.
that, but why is he being forced to play it?
Because
Don't
he
worry
said the
about it. I'll
wrong
tell you when you're
version
older.
of turret for a long, long time, and
Yeah.
pissed off
Oh.
a lot of people.
And I'm
yeah.
probably not going to stop just because I like giving him shit, but I definitely understand the annoyance.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So we'll do it that way, and here's how you can do it. You can just screen share on Discord, which doesn't take nearly as much internet, and I can stream it on my end.
I've tried doing that with a much simpler game, a 2D
Oh.
game. It still doesn't want to do it.
Mother.
Oh, is it like?
The internet
Man, must be
here
really
is
intensive.
How
not
long?
great.
How long until you're at a new place with better internet?
Hopefully March.
That'd be
Okay.
a good chunk of time.
That's a solid
Okay.
maybe too.
That's a strong maybe. So Moon
Yes.
is coming up here for Valentine's, and he's gonna play
Aw.
Alien Isolation.
Oh, very cool.
Come on,
What
Steve
day
wants a
even
hug.
is- I'm sure, but what
Steve.
day is Valentine's even on?
I don't even know, bro.
Isn't that well?
Well,
I mean, today's the 15th. Tomorrow or
Oh, and it's
yesterday was
also
Sunday,
leap
so it's
year.
probably
it's
a Monday
a
on this
fucking
year.
Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
yeah, I
not
definitely
happening.
can't do that.
Yeah,
That's not happening.
that's
You
another
take the day
work
off. Just
week.
tell him you're going to see your boyfriend.
It's for Valentine's Day,
It's-
man.
That's
Come on.
okay.
I wish.
You're going
I
to see
wish
your
it would work
boyfriend.
that
His
way.
name is Steve.
I wish it would
You
work
need
that
all
way.
your hugs. You
Yeah.
need all your hugs. Oh man. Oh man, that's so funny. I would absolutely do it the weekend before Valentine's though.
Mm.
Yeah, fair. I don't know.
Possibility. We'll
see
we'll
what
figure
happens.
something out. We will schedule a play date with Steve. Yeah.
That'll definitely happen.
Yeah. All right.
Very good. Very good. Sorry, I'm talking to a friend right now, and I was like, oh man, it's -4 degrees out, and she was like, wait a minute, is that like a block? Is it bad that I thought it was a blocking thing, like a fighting game thing? And I was like, oh,
Nice.
I get it. -4 on block. Good.
Gotcha.
Anyway, yeah. Anyway,
It is now. We are almost dipping down to single digits now.
it's fucking.
I'm coming
cool, dude.
back up, actually. It's gonna rain
Cool.
tomorrow and clean up the snow.
It's not gonna do that here. Anyway, continuing on.
Anyway, yeah. Now, or hold on. I don't know if I should congratulate him on weathering that, or just sit here seething in all my
Oh,
jealousy.
speaking of weather,
Now he had abandoned his physical body, only to reincarnate and become a fully spiritual life form. The name of his species was Flame Soul Ogre, a type of elemental soul. Like true dragons, he retained both the holy and evil attributes, making him something like a chaos elemental, a stripped-down version of a true dragon. Both true dragons and chaos elementals could take the form of various attributes, with flame being an upgraded version of fire. Oh. The natural family of elements consists of earth, wind, fire, wind, and space, the 5 major attributes as they're called. The rule of thumb is that fire beats earth, water beats fire, wind beats water, space beats wind, and earth beats space. Picture it as fire scorching earth, water extinguishing fire, wind scattering water, space blockading wind, and earth occupying space. And there you have the conflicts in a nutshell. It's Pokemon. Okay. In addition to these 5 major attributes, you also have the 2 opposing attributes of light and darkness. That's what it is, though. As well as time,
When are we
which
getting the
exists all
sound
over
type?
the other ones. I don't fucking know, dude. Which exists all over the other ones and cannot be restrained by any of them. Elemental spirits like Ifrit are bound by these physical laws, or to put it another way, they're embodiments of the laws governing the world. And apparently there are 8 types of these embodiments. The light and dark attributes are somewhat special, with light being derived from angels and darkness from demons. The angels of demons I know of so far could be called elemental spirits. Technically, if you trace the roots. Someone like Diablo could tell me more if I asked, but I'm not that interested, and it's not like I could do much with that knowledge anyway. The key takeaway here is that there are 8 kinds of elemental souls, each higher up than elemental spirits. The highest ranked among them are the true dragons, and currently only 4 are known to exist. Beldanava, the Star King Dragon, is probably associated with the space and earth elements, judging by the name, and more likely, or maybe more as well. Belzar, the Ice Dragon, is more likely water-based. Belgren, the Flame Dragon, is almost certainly fire-based. And our own Veldora rules over not just water and wind, but space as well. A pretty big deal, despite how he acts. So the true dragons stand at the pinnacle of all elemental souls, and it's safe to say that Benimaru had evolved into a similar existence. Flame Soul Ogres are spiritual life forms, but they also have physical bodies that let them properly interact with the material world. With their infinite lifespan, calling people like him God Ogres wouldn't be pushing it at all. It's a very special evolution that Benimaru pulled off, and I was impressed. His magical count received a major boost as well. It was now several times what Carrion boasted, I think. It probably wouldn't max out quite at Luminous's level, but I still thought Benimaru was decent competition. At this rate, I was reasonably sure he could fight the single digits at an even keel, or maybe even better. Alright, in that case, Benimaru, you're my first choice. As for person number 2, Ghidorah was already on the list, so I had 2 picks left. I was planning to take Shion and Diablo as well, which brought me very neatly up to 4. I'm going to have Ghidorah serve as our guide, and after that, I'll bring my secretaries Shion and Diablo. So Lapras would be taking me, Ghidorah, Benimaru, Shion, and Diablo. You can count on me, Sir Rimuru. You will be completely safe and sound around me. Shion was beaming. I'm not so sure about the safe and sound part. I had a lot of concerns, in fact, but Shion's a bodyguard I knew I could rely on. She defeated a superior opponent, Razul, and when it came to battle, I couldn't leave her off the list. I don't know what kind of scheme Guy may be hatching, but putting you through all this hardship is simply outrageous. With you by my side, I assure you that I will put an end to all your worries. Confident as always, but I saw no reason not to hold him up to that. Diablo's good at his job, and it's times like these that I want to rely on him. We might be an elite team on this mission, but we couldn't rest on our laurels. The others here will be following soon. I'd have them join in the Empire later. But before I could outline all that, one attendee was already expressing her dissatisfaction. If you could, Sir Rimuru, I humbly suggest that I would be better suited to serve as a guide. I hope you'll consider having me accompany you. It was Testarossa. She was born in the Empire, I suppose, and she probably knew a lot about its geography. She was proven to be a talented diplomatic officer gifted in negotiation, and there was certainly no complaining about her fighting strength. Hell, she might have even been stronger than me. The only real advantage Ghidorah had over her is his acquaintance with Yuki. So, if you think about it, I could probably get along without him. Ghidorah is pretty strong, especially for his age, but he couldn't hold a candle to Testarossa, and I still had a slight nagging fear that he wouldn't think twice about double-crossing us. With that in mind, I didn't want to have any regrets no matter what I decided on, but at the same time, I did feel a little bad for her. Maybe I should take the hint. Alright, in that case, maybe I should replace Ghidorah with you then? It would truly be an honor. Testarossa gave me a beautiful, almost blinding smile. Ghidorah didn't seem to mind either way, fortunately. So, let's go with that. Righto,
God!
interjected Lapis.
I'm blind!
Oh my god.
God,
blind.
stop smiling! Ah!
Jesus Christ.
Good.
One guy in the
Righto.
background, my eyes!
Ah! Yeah.
From like
My
SpongeBob
leg!
or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Very good.
My
Yeah.
leg.
Yeah. Righto, interjected Lapis. Looks like you made up your mind, so I'm gonna go prep. Let me know when you're all set. Sure, but what are you prepping for? Lapis gave me an awkward look. Well, you know. He's prepping for our trip to our hot spring. He's been going between there and our dining hall since yesterday, using our recreational facilities like they belong to him. Soe sounded pretty pissed about it. Good thing I was having Lapis surveilled. You got me, I guess. Don't be such a stick in the mud, Soe. As if we'd never noticed, he really does have a lot of guts, doesn't he? Well, you were paying for the bills, or you were paying the bills for that, right? Hey, I'm a guest here, you know. I'll pay you back with the work I'll be doing for y'all, so how about we treat it as it's on the house for now? God, saying the half of it. Lapis. Hey, it's not my fault this country is such a charmer from start to finish. It's the most advanced in the world. No two ways about it. Paradise, even. Who wouldn't want to kick back and relax while they're here? Now he was laying it on thick about how great Tempest was. Receiving such effusive praise wasn't exactly off-putting, no. I figured maybe Lapis wasn't so bad after all. He's distracting you, Sir Rimuru. Don't worry, Benimaru. He might try to put one over on Sir Rimuru. Oh. Don't worry, Benimaru. He might try to put one over on Sir Rimuru, but I'm keeping a careful watch over him at all times. Oops. Benimaru and Shion snapped me out of it. I cleared my throat. Well, keep it in moderation, all right? Oh, of course. So yeah, I'll see you guys in a bit, okay? Then Lapis gleefully skipped out of the meeting hall. What a free spirit, I thought as we moved on to the next topic. Alright.
I mean, it's
Might as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it'll only be 5 of you in the enemy territory, don't you think that's a little dangerous? I firmly agree. If anything happens to Sir Rimuru, we would never, ever recover. Or we would never recover, no matter how many battles we'd win. Oh, hold on. If it'll be only 5 of you in enemy territory, don't you think that's a little too dangerous? I firmly agree. If anything happens to Sir Rimuru, we would never recover, no matter how many battles we win. Indeed, I certainly understand that a vast army isn't what we need in this final clash. But if things go awry, someone needs to serve as a shield for Sir Rimuru. Soe, Gabiru, and Hakuro, in that order, all expressed their opposition to my plans. They discreetly kept quiet about it while Lapis was around, and now they made their grievances clear with me. Master Hakuro's right, you know. If push comes to shove, I'm prepared to take the heat for Sir Rimuru, too. I'd kind of be a meat shield, you know. Gobta. A meat shield. I couldn't help but imagine that in action. I really wish I didn't. Hakuro, stop teaching stuff like that to Gobta. Of course. Just a thought, though. It is quite important to teach him how to prepare for such eventualities. I understood what Hakuro was getting at. It was just that my heart didn't agree with it. I mean, I'm glad all of you are concerned for me, but you're all really important to me, too. I don't want to kick this off with a strategy that assumes we'll have to take casualties. If we want to avoid that, I think we should all pool our resources together for this effort. Quite true. Perhaps we are a little ahead of ourselves. I'm not sure I was convincing too many people. Even Benimaru and the rest seemed to be on Hakuro's side. If I were them, maybe I'd feel the same way. Still, though, I appreciate the thought, but I still don't want anyone to die here. Maybe it's selfish of me, but I want to put my own feelings first. Anyway, I'm not going to run strategies that demand any loss of life. So let's stick with that assumption as we discuss the final stages of our war against the Empire. Everyone nodded at my words. They seemed ready to participate in the discussion, regardless of their personal feelings. If I could begin, Sir Rimuru. Yes, Soe? I have a replication of mine undercover within the Empire. There's been a number of obstacles preventing me from reaching the capital just yet. But it does seem that their security network is looser than usual. I was thinking of using shadow motion to meet with you once Lapis organizes the transport. Would that be alright? I see. That's reassuring, actually. Soe always serves me well as my shadow. And that really hits home with situations like this. He's a great fighter, too, and taking a closer look at him, he went and evolved on me as well. No longer
Okay.
an Oni. What?
Stop cheering yourself on. God.
It's not my fault. It's the book, okay? He was so handsome.
Self-flagellation.
Mhm.
He's a great fighter, too. Extremely handsome. All the girls want him.
Hmm.
Especially
Such
so.
an
Especially
amazing
Sokka.
person. You would
Man,
know
she's
her.
so cool. Got cracking tits.
Man, she's got great taste.
Yeah, she's got
Uh-huh.
amazing taste.
Yeah, you
He's
just
so
want that-
I
cool.
just love her aspirations.
Yeah, yeah.
This
I'm
is that
sure
fucking Ed and Eddie episode.
the Dragonoot
Benny Mars
features,
talking.
her lovely Dragonoot features from head
Yeah.
to toe, but Zoe just kept focusing on that tail.
Benny Mars like, I'm the one who serves Rimuru well, for I am a stupid sockhead and a babbling dweeb who can't lift a butterfly. I wish I was as good looking as Soe.
God damn it.
Oh.
Okay, moving
sorry.
on. Moving
Anyway,
on.
he went
was
and
so-
evolved on me as well. No longer an Oni, he was now a species known as Dark Soul Ogre. Apparently, it was a blessing he received in conjunction with Benimaru's evolution. He was raised as Benimaru's shadow back in their ogre homelands, the yin to his yang. And while there was a definite hierarchy to their relationship, they were still fast friends. A natural counterpart to Benimaru, in other words. And that was why Benimaru's awakening affected him so much. The system behind this evolution must have seen Soe as his subordinate, but that wasn't a problem. They still treated each other the same. Dark Soul Ogres are chaos elementals bearing the darkness attribute. Just like Benimaru, Soe was now a spiritual life form with a physical body, kind of a servant deity for Benimaru, then? His magical count was medium size, not colossally high, it was nothing compared to Benimaru's, but still higher than Clayman's in his half-awakened state. That's enough strength for me.
Damn.
That's a lot.
You now
That's a lot.
You now outrank Clayman at the end of season 2.
That's cool.
Congratulations, you've reached the Clayman peak.
But I hope so. I didn't want any
Congratulations,
children.
Clayman. Well,
But I
no,
really
he's
hope
not at
so. I
that
didn't want
level.
any children.
He's not. At that
Okay, he's
level.
not. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I was gonna say,
Oh,
it's
he's
like
not? Oh,
he
okay.
wakes up, he lifts the blanket. God damn it.
God
He chose
damn.
now to awaken.
It's like, fucking really.
Ah.
Yeah, seriously.
Couldn't give me-
Anyway,
couldn't
Also,
give me
Dark
one night
Soul
with Sokka?
Ogre, did
Jesus.
Zoe
Yeah,
write
God
this
damn it.
with an name?
yeah,
God
Anyway.
damn it, Bobby.
yeah. Maybe that
Damn it,
boost in
Bobby,
strength
Bobby.
was what. Yeah. Maybe that boost in strength was what allowed him to skirt the Empire's security so far. Well, either way, fine by me. I was just glad to have Soe along, but that also brought Masayuki's protection into question. That's a very reassuring offer, Soe. But what about Masayuki? I will have a replication of mine continue monitoring him. If something happens, I think I can handle it well enough. He sounded confident. In that case, added Diablo, perhaps I could install Venom as a companion for Masayuki. If we kept it a secret from the boy, I think Venom could play the role of a monitor and bodyguard at the same time. That would lighten Soe's load, and it'd also provide some extra insurance. Oh, good idea. Venom had a very sensible and undemon-like personality, and he'd be getting along strength-wise, too. I felt like he and Masayuki would get along well. Maybe they could even become good friends. Sounded like a real neat idea. That means your second in command... that means your second in command would be unavailable, keep in mind. That will not be a problem. With Testarossa and the others around, my own work will not be affected at all. Sounds great, then. Are you good with that, Soe? It would be more certain, perhaps, to provide a visible bodyguard rather than monitor him from the shadows. I would be able to save the energy that replication consumes as well. Excellent. Let's do it. All right, let's go in that direction, then. Yes, my lord. I'll get on it right away. So Venom would be Masayuki's escort, and Soe would instead join us on site. The only thing left to decide is whether to deploy our army, and how. Now, as we fight alongside Dworgen, do you think we'll need a show of force for the Empire? Our 1st and 3rd Army Corps returned home with us once they finished retrieving all their bodies. Their full manpower was stationed here in Rimuru, our capital city. The 2nd Army Corps, meanwhile, couldn't be deployed because Geld, their leader, was still taking his evolution nap. Which meant... Sir Rimuru, is this where we may come in? Whoa, wait a sec, we're shipping out first. Gabi wrote, I expected, but it was rare to see Gupta so enthusiastic about stuff like this. Oh. But unlike last time, I felt like relying on strength and numbers was too risky. If we were fighting a massive army, I wouldn't attempt a large assault that'd get too many of my allies involved. But this time, we were a bit like a SWAT team. They might decide to carpet bomb us with nuclear magic or expose us to even more drastic measures. Armies waging magic battle tend to rely on the power of their legion magic, with teams of elites slinging attacks before that magic's broken. But if the opponent's above a certain level of strength, the soldiers at the end of the line are just dead weight. What do you think, Hakuro? I know exactly what you're thinking, Surimaru, and I see it as the right thing to think. Okay, no novices then. And we shouldn't take any low-ranking soldiers in either? I believe that's best for minimizing casualties, yes. And so it'll just be the Goblin Riders, from my corps? And Team Hiryu from mine will be ready for combat. Sounds like it. The Goblin Riders ranked in A for their overall teamwork. They served as excellent decoys in the war so far, and I didn't think anyone could beat them that easily. When it came to fleeing, they were all but unbeatable, so I didn't see any issues there. Also, following Gabiru's awakening, every team member of Team Hiryu was now past A in rank. I'm a little concerned about the control they had over their powers, but nah, they ought to be okay. Alright, Gobta and Gabiru, I want you to start prepping along those lines. Oh, wait a second. I was about to set it in stone when I remembered something else important. Gobta, can you call upon your Star Wolf partners right now? Huh? Like, Ranga hasn't finished the awakening process yet, so all the other wolves under him are still sleeping too, right? Oh, guess that's a no then.
I think it was like, oh!
Yeah, because it's italicized. Oh, guess that's a no then.
They're not.
Right. So they're all napping.
No.
Omnimir.
Yapping.
Yeah. All right. You'll stay here on standby then. But don't tell me you aren't aware of your limitations, Gopta.
Don't give me a
Sorry.
bite.
Yeah. Gopta was visibly mopey about this, but I couldn't do much about it, sadly. The Goblin Riders' main advantages stem from the high mobility of their Star Wolf mounts. Each rider may have ranked an A+, no problem, but I still couldn't afford to take them along on this. Hey, it's not your fault. Hook up with Rieger and focus on security within our own borders, alright? Yes, sir! So with Summer Grand Gupta's army had to stay here, which meant our only other deployable troops were... How's Team Kurenai doing, Benimaru? No problems there. Every one of them's achieved a rank of A. Perfect. They had an excellent commander in Gobwa, and some of them had even evolved into ogre mages during the blessing process. They ought to be reliable enough when we send them out. So, how about Team Kuriyami? They're deployed across the land, gathering intelligence, engaging the enemy. I can call them back if necessary. No, keep them working behind the scenes. Very well. No need to demand them back here. The importance of their intelligence ops went without question, so let's have them keep that up. That just leaves Team Reborn. I'd love to deploy them, Sir Rimuru. They're ready and willing to play a more active role at any moment. Yeah. Shion's awakening brought about no special changes in her, but Team Reborn's fighting power had grown a lot, with some members achieving an A rank. They were hard to kill, which was a big advantage, so I figured they'd be okay in this battle, but Team Reborn was at its most effective only when Shion was around them. Was with them. If nobody was around to command them, they'd be rudderless. It'd be less risky, I thought, to keep them back home like Gopta's force. Nah, I think we'll leave them. Oh no. Team Reborn's more of a bodyguard force than an army, you know. I'd feel safer if you were with me instead, Shion. Ah, I see. Shion readily accepted that. So now we had our deployment fully worked out. Team Hiryu had 100 members, Team Kurenai 300. That was 400 people ranked A and higher in all, making for an excellent little fighting division. They may not have been the largest, but no one would ever doubt their battle skill. Still, this wasn't quite enough to reassure me. Now, Ultima and Carrera, I have a job for you two. Oh, absolutely. Anything you like. What is it, my lord? Ultima, I want you to continue accompanying Gabiru's force as an intelligence officer. Carrera, I'll be assigning you a support duty for Gobwa this time, not Guild. Oh, the lizards again? Understood. I'll try to be as discreet as possible on my post. The replies weren't exactly filling me with confidence. Ultima seemed to have a beef or two with Gabiru, and frankly, I didn't believe Carrera could keep a low profile doing much of anything. Heavens, Ultima, do you have some issue with my force, perhaps? Yes, lots of them. Like the way you guys act creeps me out. It's kind of hard to figure out what makes you tick, from a common sense perspective. No need to worry about that. When it comes to battle, we always take things fully seriously, and you call experimenting with a hostile fire enemies in the middle of war being serious? Don't be silly. It's wise to try every possible tactic in order to gain an advantage in battle. Experimentation is part of that, and it's something all of us should take seriously, I think. No, it's something you should finish up before battle begins. Why do I even have to lecture you about this?
I love
That's
Gabiru
amazing.
getting lectured by a fucking primal demon.
Makes sense. Good.
Is it Testarossa? I forgot if it was Testarossa.
I thought it was both. Yeah, I thought it was both of them, like,
It
yapping
might,
at each other.
I mean,
think
it
it
might
is both
be.
of
them,
yeah.
No, that was
Yeah.
Gabiru and Testarossa, yeah.
Oh, okay. I suppose having a beef or
the
two with
lovers'
him is
quarrel.
understandable. I see. That's kind of adorable. I
The
suppose having
lovers'
beef or two. Yes, trouble in paradise, as they say.
Let him finish the sentence.
Yeah. I suppose having a beef or two with him is understandable. From what I was hearing, Ultima seemed to be in the right, too. I'm sorry, but do you think you could put up with it this time at least? If those are your orders, Surimu, I'll do my best with them. I was thinking that I need to teach them a lot of things anyway. Excuse me. So I'll try to see this as a good opportunity and stuff. Even with that resentful glare, Ultima was as cute as always as she evaluated Gabiru. They may not get along well, but I felt like I could leave Gabiru in her care.
Keep in mind,
And Carrera?
guys, Ultima is the one we saw at the in the movie and at the end of the OVA, the 3-episode OVA that just recently came out. That's
purple lady?
Ultima.
Oh yeah, I didn't.
Purple.
I didn't look at that.
The primordial purple. That's
purple
her.
lady.
The one Diablo fought in the movie. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. They may not get along well, but I felt like I could leave Gabiru in her care. And Carrera, well, you don't have to worry about keeping a low profile too much. Oh, she was bound to start bashing heads in battle anyway, so trying to be discreet here seemed pretty absurd to me. Instead, I just wanted Carrera to think a little more about the right time and place for that kind of thing. The number one rule I want you to remember is to keep your allies safe from damage. Beyond that, just keep quiet until the fighting starts, alright? Sure, that sounds simple enough. Is it? I wouldn't make any more demands, I promised her. As long as she absolutely abided by that one. I know it's just like, Hopefully this would help everything work out, but... Hakuro, could you accompany Galboy as well? Certainly. Try to rein in Carrera for me, okay? Hakuro nodded, sniggering a bit. We had our deployment all sorted out, or so I thought, before Ghidorah raised his hand. Surimaru, if I may be so bold, I'd like to discuss something else with you. What's that? I think it might be a good idea to include the Demon Colossus in this war. Aha. Getting it out of the labyrinth is a bit of a problem, but even if it breaks, it won't lead to any human casualties. With Ghidorah taking control of it, I was sure he could get out safely if need be. He had both a resurrection bracelet and an emergency return spell in his arsenal, after all. No matter what kind of raging battlefield we threw him into, we wouldn't need to worry about him, which was a big advantage. But did we really want to reveal the Colossus's combat capabilities to the world? Vesta, what do you think? I asked Vesta for his opinion. He replied with a defiant grin as he pushed his glasses up his nose. It might be the perfect occasion for the big unveiling, actually. I've already given a detailed report on it to King Gazel, and he's been eager to see it in action for a while. I'd like to collect data from it in all kinds of conditions, so it'd be interesting for me to see how it performs on an actual battlefield. Vesta really is a scientist, isn't he? The value of a weapon is determined by how powerful it is. You gotta fire it off in public sometime, even if it's just for show of force.
I'm gonna read it back.
From that standpoint, yeah, no problem. From that standpoint, maybe this battle would be a nice place for a demonstration. That's what Vesta thinks, I presume. Certainly, the Demon Colossus was best suited for close-up warfare. It wasn't a weapon of mass destruction that way, but it'd be killer for intimidating opponents, sapping their will to fight. If I was letting the 3 Demonesses out on the battlefield, it'd be morally wrong for me to turn this down. But if the enemy seized it from us, wouldn't that be a serious technology leak? Oh, I promise we won't make that mistake. Well, if that happens, we'll just develop an even better golem next time. There's no single endpoint to technology, after all. Still, just in case, it has been equipped with a self-destruct button mechanism, so there's no need to worry about any leaks. Hold on. He was making this out to be a nice, happy story. There was one part of it I couldn't ignore. A self-destruction mechanism?
A self-destruct.
That's right. Excuse me, yeah. A self-destruct mechanism? That's right. Sir Veldora was quite insistent on having one in there. I thought he was joking at first, but I have to hand it to him. He must have anticipated a situation like that. No, he definitely didn't.
No.
It's just he was just reading manga.
Yep.
No, he definitely didn't. I had a feeling Veldora was behind it. It was the kind of harebrained thing either he or Ramirez would come up with, given all the manga I've been feeding him. I really wish they'd stop obsessing over useless crap like this. Still, better to have it than not, at least. Alright, in that case, I don't care too much if it breaks down or falls in enemy hands, but don't be reckless with it, alright? So we can bring it out. Yep, you're good to go. And Ghidorah, we may not need you in battle, but I'd still like you on hand in case of emergency. By all means, Surimaru. And personally, I don't want to be too cruel towards my former colleagues. The way I see it, the Demon Colossus will come into play only if they break out some new weapon we're not aware of. Sounds safe enough to leave to him, then. Ghidorah's quick on his feet, so he might decide to switch sides again if defeat starts looking inevitable for us. Maybe he was angling to position himself outside our labyrinth just in case it came to that. That seemed plausible to me, but it wouldn't be right to voice that yet. We needed to be optimistic for now and keep Ghidorah away from any second thoughts. In other words, all we needed was an undeniable, overwhelming victory against the Empire, and we were good. So the final lineup, with Ghidorah included after all, was now set in place. Excuse me. It was evening by the time the meeting ended. Once it adjourned, each of us began to prepare for tomorrow. Although for me, that meant relaxing a bit in our dining hall. Tomorrow, I'd be giving a pep talk for my personal entourage in the morning, and then we all head off via the transport spell. In the afternoon, I'd confer with Yuki. Lapis was going to take me to him, so we'd have plenty of time to spare. This would just be a day trip for me, so I didn't have the whole lot to prep for. I certainly didn't need to bring a gift for Yuki or whatnot. I figured we should keep things casual. Are you sure you should be so blithe about this? Oh, are you sure you should be so blithe about this? I bet it's fine. What about you? You sure you should be leaving Momiji and Alvis alone right now? Benimaru was with me in the dining hall. Being a newlywed and all, I wanted him to have as much relaxing home time as possible. That was why I asked about his wives, but Benimaru just chuckled at me. They told me they're taking a cooking lesson from Shuna today. I heard they have an informal agreement not to try to one-up each other, but thanks to that, they've shooed me away from the house for now. Well, not exactly the happiest, most carefree way to kick off a marriage, is it? I wondered they could keep things up like that, but it's not on me to comment on other people's family lives. I see, I said, sagely nodding in agreement, as Diablo excitedly brought a meal over to us, like a real butler for a change. I mean, it still felt weird having a primal demon serving as my butler, but he seemed to enjoy every minute of it, and I wasn't about to shoot him down. I was used to this treatment by now. I was used to this treatment now, besides, and I wasn't about to change my mind. Thank you very much. No, this is part of my job as well, so... You think so, huh? Well, if you're happy, I'm happy. I have this for you as well, Surimaru. Shion was there, pouring me a glass of wine. She didn't make it herself, of course, so it was perfectly safe and non-lethal to drink, but something about her presence made me really uncomfortable. This was a simple meal of fried pork cutlets and rice, after all, so I really didn't need this 5-star service. Having Diablo and Shion standing behind me just added to my fatigue. Here, why don't you guys sit down and eat with us? What a kind thing to say. Oh no, I'm already full, so don't worry about me. Yes, Shion's been sampling the wares in the kitchen, after all. Damn you, Diablo! Eesh. They were at each other's throat at every little thing. They have big sibling energy.
Yeah, they do.
They were at each other's throats over every little thing. It seemed pointless to give them any more attention, so Benimaru and I let them be and enjoyed our meal. So do you intend to fully trust Yuki, then? Not from the heart, no. That's kind of asking a lot. Right now, I kind of have to, you know? And I want to also. Then I will follow your lead, Surimaru. Our entire strategy, after all, assumes that we can trust him. And what if he turns traitor? That would be trouble, but we can manage, I imagine. Well, sorry for the trouble in advance. I'm always ready and willing. Something about Benimaru's smile really encourages me. In war, you always have to trust your allies, your friends. Let any doubt seep into your mind, and that throws your chances of success at any operation into uncertainty. If Yuki betrays us, we'd pay an enormous toll for that. So it's certainly a difficult choice I'm being forced to make. I decided to trust Yuki, and now that I made that decision, there was no point in worrying over it. I was wondering, by the way, do you even need to eat now? I posed the question to Benimaru, who was tucking into his meal right alongside me. In terms of need, the answer is no. Ah, I thought so. But the same applies to you, doesn't it, Rimaru? I'm glad I didn't lose my sense of taste. Oh, I hear you. When I lost the 3 main desires all human beings have, I thought the world was going to end, honestly. I went through a lot of hard work to regain my appetite and need to sleep, so I'm really enjoying that every day now. I'm sure. I was worried about the possibility as well, but I'm the same as always on that front, so I can't complain. We nodded at each other, then something occurred to me. Oh, so all 3 of your major needs are still there? Yes, fortunately, all of them. Even sleep? I don't need to sleep, but meditation puts me in a sleep state. It still helps me recover from fatigue as well. Wow. So I had to go through all that work in order to sleep, but he gets to keep that from the start? And it even gives him a lot of benefits I don't get to enjoy? What I was even more interested in. And your sex drive? Hey, Benimaru, how's your sex life? I lowered my voice as I asked
hi,
it,
Mark.
Benimaru.
How hard you been tapping both of your wives, huh? Huh?
Jesus.
In
They
the
still
same
walking
room at the
straight?
same time?
Jesus. They get a hold of both horns.
Yeah.
Did they grab a hold of both horns and ride you like a bicycle?
Jesus Christ. I lowered my voice as I asked it. Benimaru nodded back, looking a little embarrassed. What the hell? I thought you couldn't evolve because you won't be able to have children then. That's right, but both Mamiji and Alvis are pregnant now. Well, congratulations, but wait, did you keep your sex drive after the evolution? I assumed it would disappear as well, but whether I'm fertile or not, it's still there, yes. Looks like I won't be leaving them lonely after all. I was just too jealous, keeping functionality I never had in the first place. Talk about a perfect evolution. God damn it, why can't I have that? Gee, that's great.
Gee,
Yes.
that's
Hey,
great.
why are you taking... Yeah, that's...
Allow me-
gee,
allow me.
That's great. Yes.
Oh, good for you.
Yes. Hey, why are you taking my food? Shut up, you traitor. My jealousy finally ignited as I took Benimaru's dish away. All I got left to enjoy is food. Look at you, you bastard. could anyone have faulted me for thinking that way?
Your cookies.
Here's the simple fact. If he had a sex drive, Shion would be all over that.
Yeah, that's true. Diablo 2, maybe.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no. You're
People
not
would
wrong.
be talking to Shion. Shion, you got a little
Just saying.
slime in your hair.
Just saying.
You know? Let me.
Just saying.
This isn't There's Something About Mary.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Anyway, we continued to enjoy ourselves well into the night. The usual scene, kind of, but all that was about to end abruptly. All right, so it's 8:34.
So at this point, Moon, you take over.
Mm.
By the way, guys, we're almost at 283,
Okay.
which means we're only 50 pages left in this whole book.
Hey, that's pretty
Wow.
Oh, no.
I'm shredding.
314 is where the chapter ends and the epilogue begins, and then the book itself ends at 323. So 383,
Sounds good.
323, 283, and 323, 50 pages. Let's chew this shit
Okay.
up.
Okay.
Hell yeah. Holy smokes! Guys, something really awful's happened, apparently. So I gotta get back, like, right now. Lapis was shouting as he stormed into the dining hall. He wasn't alone. Bad news, Sir Rimuru. We just received a call in the name of King Gazel. It informed us that Velgrind has appeared before the composite force, and they're requesting immediate support. Okay, that was Vester.
I just
Vester's
imagine
eyes
real
were
quick,
bloodshot.
instead of that, he comes in like, it's Momiji, it's Benimara's wives. They're ready for round 2, sir.
Oh god.
Okay.
Fucking hell.
Sorry.
Anyways. Vester's eyes were bloodshot. Surprised, I rose from my seat. Okay, assemble the group. I'm leaving with ASAP. Assemble the group. I'm leaving with ASAP. Right away. Benimaru promptly sprang into action. They'd all be here in short order. Lapis, give me just a little bit. We'll join you. Well, if you want, but I wondered if Lapis's panic was just an act, some scheme to lure us some scheme to lure us in and trap us. But upon hearing Vester's report, I saw that it wasn't the case. Something major was going down in the Empire, something not even Lapis was informed of. It was important to stay calm. I know this is a big deal, but don't panic. We're in an alliance, remember? You'd be a lot more useful bringing all of us than going back alone, won't you? Useful? If the enemy's strongest fighter is right in front of the composite division, maybe we can consider this an opportunity. Reportedly, someone attacked Yuki as well, but if we can beat all of them now, it'd give us a decisive advantage in our negotiations. With that in mind, I decided to ask Lapis for more details. So, what happened exactly? After a few moments of hesitation, Lapis answered me. Well, Tyr reached out to me. She said our team's president, Lady Kagali, was calling for me, cause Kondo and his team were attacking them. Ah, Lieutenant Kondo, one of the guys on my watch out for list. I need to adjust myself. Hey, probably good to team up with Lapis and beat him up now. But what I wondered about is whether Yuki's force wasn't able to fend these guys off, and why. What's Yuki doing then? Did he lose too? Well, it sounds like Damrata's taking him on. Damrata? The Cerberus leader, who's actually vice commander of the Imperial Guardians, right? So he turned traitor on Yuki. I was under the impression he was on Yuki's side, but he's not? I've never met him, so I can't guess his motivations. That I don't know. Tyr and Footman keep on changing their stories. But for now, it's clear he was fighting the boss. Hard to say much, but one thing's for sure. A lot of enemies are on the field, and they're dispersed all over the place. Job 1 was to gain an accurate bead on the situation. Not wanting to waste any time, I deployed Argos, the Eye of God, on the spot. We already had the coordinates giving me a pinpoint view of the composite division encampment. I projected it on the dining hall wall. Wow, muttered someone in the room. There we saw a beautiful woman, a lustrous smile. Her most notable trait was her blue hair, tied up in buns on top of her head. She had on a dress I described as similar to a kipao, plus a military jacket draped over her shoulders. She was standing alone as if strolling through an empty field, except there was a large army of 60,000 troops behind her, or at least the vestiges of an army. Those were dead bodies in the air, huh? We could see pillars of crimson connecting heaven and earth, a high-gravity force field. Gravity collapse, huh? What a drag. Stealing my greatest trick like that. Oh, that was Carrera. Yeah. Carrera was taking this pretty lightly, but her expression was dead serious. I could see why. The magic this woman, presumably Velgrind, had broken out was even more precise than the spell Carrera cast. She perfectly specified the range of it, keeping it at bay and under control. There were no other traces of destruction in the area, showing that her spell affected the gravity and nothing else. So she used gravity to send the troops flying without damaging anything else? That's right, my lord. And even more vexing to me, there's not even a single grain of sand caught up in it. The only thing it's blowing into the sky are whoever she sees as an enemy. Is that possible? I guess it must be. We were seeing it happen here, so there was no point doubting it. We're going to fight her, right?
Hang on.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay.
You're good. She is every bit the elder sister of Sir Veldora, is she not? How fascinating. I've always wanted to have a serious fight with one of them. Diablo was bold as always, but honestly, I didn't see any way that he'd win.
Negative. If we challenge her with all our strength, we would have a chance to win.
Well, that's
Great
very
to hear.
optimistic.
Yeah. Great to hear, but the all-hands-on-deck approach was a non-starter for me. There'd definitely be casualties then, so I'd prefer to avoid battle if I could. So would going after Emperor Ludora be a better bet than Velgrind? If I could have Guy and Ludora settle their game, we could bring this battle to an end and avoid any unnecessary sacrifice. But I don't understand. Why isn't she completing the spell fully? Perhaps she doesn't like destroying nature, unlike us? I doubt it. Look at that. There's a pile of corpses with the blood all drained from them. Testarossa pointed at one corner of the screen. She was right. We could see multiple corpses in a pile. I used a split screen effect to focus on the spot. And there, near the pile, we saw a man in a military outfit and a woman I was familiar with. Is that Kagali? Yuki's secretary? She's the head of the Moderate Jesters. She created us, God damn it! I don't want to believe it, but it's true. Footman and Tia told me as much through telepathy, but I guess Kondo really was controlling Lady Kagali. Controlling? You mean mind control? Yeah, and worst of all, Tyr and Footman can't defy Lady Kagali's orders at all. Our telepathy got cut off a bit ago, and I bet it's because she ordered them to stop. That sucks. I think it's awful to take away a person's free will like that, but that's not the pressing issue. We're in serious trouble. So how far does Kagali's thrall or whatever extend if she's being mind-controlled? Are you all right? I couldn't really tell since he was wearing a mask, but Lapis really did look frustrated. If he was as helpless as Tyr and Footman against his leader's orders, that was a major problem. Nah, I'm fine. Lady Kagali created me, it's true, but I'm the only one who ain't obliged to follow her orders. The bigger deal right now is that most of the folks Yuki's gathered have a locking curse on them. Their top leaders are gonna be the main problem in that case, but judging by how the army's looking right now, I don't see much point worrying about them. Yeah, it looked like Yuki's force was done for. Even if there were survivors, none of them could ever escape that magic. It seemed like a few people were still safely outside its influence, but after seeing this tragedy unfold, they'd mostly lost their will to fight. Locking curse or not, I doubted we could count on them for much. Given all that, Lapis's safety was actually pretty darn good news. Well, I'm glad you're okay at least. Don't bother. This is it for all our friends. He sounded unaffected, his voice flat, but I doubted he was too serene. Watching his friends get manipulated like this had to be infuriating. That much, I'm sure, was genuine. Instead of saying anything, I patted Lapis on the shoulder. Turn the page.
He
gave me a surprised look.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
I know.
I just needed the page to turn.
I know. That's why I just said.
He gave me...
Yeah. Said it
Okay.
for you.
He gave me a surprised look. I got you. Thank you. Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
But isn't it too early to give up? I asked, trying to sound naturally cheerful. Kagali's not dead or anything. If that guy Kondo is controlling her, we can just defeat the source to bring her back to normal. I'm sure Yuki's still fighting too, so let's get over there and help them rise back up. Some of it might have been empty consolation, but it beats being all pessimistic about this. We can always wallow in despair later. What can we do right now? That's what's more important. You're a funny guy, you know that? Saying the same kind of things my boss does. It's humans who persecuted and exiled us, and now it's humans who are gonna help us, huh? What a pain. I thought I could detect Lapis smiling beneath his mask. I am a monster, you know. But yeah, slime or not, I used to be human. Maybe it's not worth bringing up, but... Hey, mind if I ask you something? What is it? What do you want to do? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, mind
It's
if I ask you something? What is it? What do you want to do as the Demon Lord? Oh, that? Well, my answer's been the same for a while. Ever since I was reincarnated into this world, I've only had one ambition. I'm gonna make it so we can all live happily together. That's why I've created this town, this nation, and built relationships with all these other nations. Beyond that, I'd like to value diversity and get along with everyone who shares in my tastes and interests. You're not thinking about taking over the world or whatever? Huh? Nah, too much work. What? But if you conquer the world, you can do whatever you want with it. Yeah, but I'd get all bored, you know? The more ideas you come up with, the more possibilities that'll open up, and the more fun you'll have creating fun stuff you never thought possible, right? Lapis puzzled over my impassioned plea. Then he started waving his hands as if in a panic. That's crazy, man. What do you mean, fun stuff? I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about you taking over the world. He doesn't get it, does he? Well, what if I got to do whatever I wanted? Does that mean it's okay for me to execute mind control over people? Or do you think it's better to be controlled like Kagli is right now? No, but I think it's important that we preserve the right to free speech, thought, and expression. That connects to respect for basic human rights overall. It creates diversity, and it's the driving force of all kinds of cultural development. Huh. That's just gonna create more selfish bastards, ain't it? You can't get people on the same page that way. How are you supposed to steer a country like that? He had a point. The greatest weakness of democracy, I think, lies in how to separate national interests from the feelings of individuals. But that counts as diversity, too. It's fine. We can figure out how to do it together later. I'm basically a selfish bastard, too, and I sure don't want this nation to go in a direction I'm not too on board with. I'm perfectly fine being a big talker, nothing else. Rain, do not rule, as the saying goes. I'll do what I've always done, and luckily for me, I have a lot of role models in this world. Luminous's way of using religion as a cover for her rule and Elmisia's positioning herself as absolute ruler up top were both helpful references. Still, I have a long way to go, so I didn't need to decide who I'd be right this minute. But that's why political issues and stuff can wait. Right now, what's more important is cultural development, entertainment, you see? Without that, developing this country is pointless. This was a really key point. One I hoped would show up on the exams in... I'm sorry, that made me laugh. One I hoped would show up on the exams in our future history classes. If I wanted people to lead interesting lives, we needed to produce a ton of entertainment. That's why I didn't want any restrictions on people's ideas or speech. Lapis stared at me in puzzlement as I explained this. I don't get it. It's beyond my understanding. the boss. He promised me he'd conquer the world and make it a good place to live. That's why I believed in him. In Yuki. But what the hell's up with you? What do you mean? You're just mocking him, ain't you? With that namby-pamby stuff. I'm not mocking him, dude. I'm just saying that world domination doesn't sound as fun as you think. And it's a lot harder than you think, too. That finally silenced Lapis for a bit. Then, yeah, I know that. He sat limply on the floor, his head turned toward the magical screen. There he saw that pile of bodies, Kagali standing in front of it. You asked what we were doing over there earlier, huh? Well, I'll tell you. The biggest secret out there, but I'll tell you. I think you know that we're all walking dead. But I'm gonna tell you about how she's gonna increase our numbers. Oh? Wait, this does sound important.
Yeah.
Whoa, calm down. This isn't something you should be talking about in our dining hall, is it?
Anybody else
who
feel that
cares?
sudden shift in tone?
Yeah, just a
Anyone
little
else?
bit.
Oh,
Anyone
yeah.
else feel that in the air?
Yeah.
In the air tonight?
Oh my god, I thought he meant penis.
Penis!
Oh.
Okay. Who cares? Now ain't the time for that. You see, we were created by Lady Kagali's hand. That's what she was capable of as Curse Lord, gathering up the corpses of the dead and their lingering grudges to create a powerful magic born. It's called Dead Birthday, a kind of forbidden curse magic. We call it a dining hall, but technically it's reserved for cabinet class officials. No civilians were in here, though I have to say, Lapis was really taking the plunge, huh? Revealing classified secrets in a place like this. The only people left were Benimaru, back from delivering orders, Soe, Diablo, Shion, Hakuro, the three demonesses, and Vester,
So
who had been
basically,
watching the
everybody you
video
don't want to
feed with
give
us.
high class information to.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Gabiru had also returned from giving orders at some point. This was serious stuff, but fortunately nobody was here who I didn't want listening in on it. Oh my, that spell name certainly brings... Oh wait, who is this?
Diablo.
okay.
Diablo.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh my, that spell name certainly brings back memories. You know it, Diablo?
Oh, good times.
It was useful having such a magic nerd like Diablo around. Good thing he was familiar with this. The body I received from you, Sir Rimuru, was forged through an application of Dead Birthday. In my case, the body didn't come with a soul, but it was perfect for incarnating myself within. The original intent of the spell is to take at least 10,000 corpses, join them together, and take their powers for yourself. It was an inhumane kind of dark magic, a forbidden curse if I ever saw one. Of course, I'm kind of a serial soul stealer myself, but let's ignore that for now. So, if Kagali here is trying to make their power her own, does she want to imbue the resulting body with the will of someone in particular? It depends, but I think it's safe to assume so.
Nope.
Yeah, oh wait, no, that
That's
was Diablo. It depends, but I think it's safe to assume so. Yeah, Diablo's right. Footman, Tyr, and Clayman are all survivors from where Sir Kazalim came from. Once they lost their homeland, they resorted to these forbidden arts so they'd never forget the humiliation. Sounds like my hunch was correct then. Which means that if they complete this spell, it'd be a pretty bad scene. There are... Wait, who is this? Who is this?
I think that's
I'm
stuff.
going to assume it's...
Footman.
yeah,
I think.
okay.
Yeah.
Footman.
There were around 60,000 people in the composite force. If you got that much material to work with, you could probably create at least 10 Walking Dead at Clayman's level. Whoa. And what's more, those 60,000 contain a lot of really strong folks. And unlike Footman and Tyr, they're gonna offer just a ton of easily controllable power, I asked Lapis to expand on that, which he did with visible disgust. As he put it, Footman and Tyr were still emotionally immature because they were swallowed up by the vast amounts of power running through them. When Kazaleen created his first Walking Dead, he wasn't too adept at allocating the right amount of power and souls to the right target. As a result, he gave those two far more power than they could hope to withstand. Then, learning from this mistake, Kazaleen created Clayman, which became a resounding success. That being said, Tyr and Footman weren't exactly failures. Their immature minds led to some delays in intellectual growth, but they still wielded a lot of power. In fact, the pre-evolved Geld would probably have his work cut out for him against Footman. In light of that, in terms of fighting ability alone, they were an even greater success than Clayman himself. If you were to create power-oriented Walking Dead from a group of 60,000 corpses, Lapis estimated the results would be condensed down to 6 or 7 people. This is an empire that didn't bat an eye at sacrificing 1 million troops to create even one awakened person. I'm sure they lost no sleep at all over doing this. Man, we were all kids back then, And Tyr still is a kid, pretty much. And that goes without saying for Footman. Footman, too. Only Clayman ever really grew up, but then he went and got himself killed through his own stupid antics. Still, though, I don't think we did you guys wrong at all, huh? Survival of the fittest and all that. Only natural to want to test someone out if you don't trust them. And we sure don't give a crap about sacrificing others if it'll expand our own powers. That's how I see it anyway. So you still want to join forces with me? He didn't have to tell me any of this, but he did. There was no point trying to deliberately agitate us with this. In fact, it'd be a really bad move. But if he was going through with this anyway, don't kid yourself. I will never forgive you for inciting the orcs and destroying our orcish homeland. Oh, wait. Don't kid yourself. I will never forgive you for inciting the orcs and destroying our orcish homeland.
Okay.
But Sir
Benimaru's
Rimuru has
being
decided to
calm
join.
right now.
That's not Benimaru.
That sounds like Benimaru.
Oh, wait, is it Benimaru?
Benimaru? Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
because the
okay.
next paragraph
I
is
thought it
Benimaru's
was
right.
Geld. I thought
Yeah.
it was
Geld is
Geld. That's my
asleep.
bad. Okay.
Yeah, he is Omnimere.
Oh,
Geld is.
okay, my bad.
Yeah,
All right, if this is Benimaru, I use a different voice then.
Yeah.
yeah.
Don't kid yourself. I will never forgive you for inciting the orcs and destroying our orcish homeland. But Sir Rimuru has decided to join forces with you, and I am in no position to refuse it. Benimaru is right. Just thinking about what happened to everyone in our homeland breaks my heart. But there is nothing I could do to you that would make me feel better. Only when we have a world where everyone can live in happiness, the world Sir Rimuru desires, will I lose my regrets. Okay, who is this? I need
I think that's-
names. God.
I know.
It's Footman.
Yeah.
Give
Footman?
me
Okay.
names,
Or
damn it.
Lapis. Lapis.
Sorry, Lapis.
Lapis,
You can
yeah,
imply
yeah.
from the
Yeah,
context.
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Context is difficult for me sometimes.
Well, the way that they speak is
Yeah.
different. Like
Yeah.
the certain words that they use and the mannerism of their tone. Different.
Yeah, I skimmed through it to try to find certain
It's
words
okay.
like that. It's yeah.
I also
It's usually
as a
at the very
writer-
end.
Also,
but
as a
it's-
writer,
yeah.
I happen to know who's going to say what based on the flow of the conversation.
Fair.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're trying to monopolize all the blame so we can take out our frustrations on you alone. But don't kid yourself. We'll need more than that to erase our anger. It's nothing small enough to be alleviated through torturing the likes of you.
Oh,
That
that's.
doesn't sound like.
Is that Soe? It says Benimaru, Shion,
I think that's
Soe, and
Soe.
Hakuro.
Yeah,
Okay.
because it's like Benimaru,
Yeah,
Shion,
okay, so he is
Soe,
here. Yeah,
and
yeah.
Hakuro.
Yes, quite so. As you say, survival of the fittest is all that matters. And our inexperience at the time, most of all, was the culprit. I'm sure you've cried over your own inexperience at times, haven't you? And if you have, I'm sure you understand how we feel.
Okay. Benimaru, Shion, Soe, and Hakuro. The four of them loathed Lapis and his band, but they were still swallowing their pride so we could all fight together. It's just that they couldn't forgive Lapis's gang for what they did, but they're trying to work through it. These ogres sure can be generous sometimes, I noticed that back when Geld first joined us, and I'm seeing it now.
This one's Rimuru.
Okay. All right. We haven't forgiven you, and I sure don't trust you completely either. But for now, we're allies. So let's forget our differences and just fight together, okay?
We'll fight together.
Yeah. And you too, right? I want to save the boss and my president. So lend me a hand, won't you? Lapis bowed his head deeply. For once, he was being sincere. Not at all his usual aloof self. If this was an act, I'd lose faith in other people for good. For now, at least, I wanted to trust him.
All right. 292. Almost 31 pages away. All right.
Damn.
Laplace's request was met with nods of approval from Benimaru and the others. His gestures toward us all were so determined, I suppose it tugged at our heartstrings. Right. Then we'll head over with the six of us as planned and rescue Yuki. Sounds good. Let's save that bum so he can give us a proper apology. I don't know why you decided to make him Boston, but now it's stuck in my head.
You see how it's written? All the
It works.
the contracted words and
It
everything,
does.
Right.
and also
Yeah.
Tyr in the English dub. She is definitely Boston.
All right, anyway.
Good.
Benimaru was certainly motivated. Of course, this is Yuki we're talking about. Knowing him, I'm pretty confident he'd beat Damrata and emerge without even a scratch. The real problem is how to deal with Velgrin, though. But just as I was about to offer some instructions about that, Shion surprised me. So this Kondo man is the mastermind behind all this. If he's capable of controlling the likes of Kagli, then perhaps Clayman was being controlled too. Why is it that Shion just pulled this, like, fucking genius level information out of fucking nowhere?
40 checks.
Hey, every now and then,
Every now and then,
even
the brain cells
two
travel
brain
from
cells
her titties.
will just
Every now and then, the brain cells that reside
boy.
within her titties will actually return to the brain.
And
That's
they just
awesome.
rub together, you know, and just.
Wow.
Jesus Christ. All right. Well,
Now you can't
Go
get
ahead.
that image out of your head, huh?
no,
No,
he
just-
saw Shion Ex Machina.
Mm.
Yeah. All right. We all fell silent. Benimaru was frozen in surprise, while Laplace just muttered, "The hell?" The first secretary says some rather interesting things. Diablo could try laughing it off as much as he wanted, but perhaps remembering how things were back then, realized there was nothing inherently wrong with what she said. It's possible, Hakuro even added. No, guys, it's definitely more natural to believe that. According to Laplace, Yuki had given orders to Clayman to lie low and not cause trouble. The whole bit with the orcs was one thing, but Clayman's descent into insanity after that wasn't at all what Yuki wanted from him. Affirmative. Based on the newly obtained information, I have redefined the situation as this. The subject claimant... Alexa, shut up! The subject claimant exhibited some unexplained behavior, but if he was being influenced by Kondo and other people, it begins to make more sense. The clear answer is that the Empire stood to gain the most from him. Yep, that's what I'm thinking. So, you're saying that we had to go through that stuff with Clayman because of Kondo's intentions? Shit. Watch your mouth, Benimaru, or else I'll tell Shuna. I will, so don't, okay? Ignoring Benny... Oh, I'm sorry. That was Shion. That was Soe. No, it was Benimaru and Shion.
Oh.
Sorry. Back
Yeah,
and forth.
Benimaru and Shion. That's
I
funny.
hate to say it, but I have to agree with Shion. I tried to perform an analysis of his criminal psychology, but there was something unclear about Clayman's behavior. I saw signs that he was in a hurry to move his forces for some reason, even though he should have acted more cautiously. I, at first, thought it was merely his stupidity in action, but it would make more sense if there was a third party intervening. Whoa! Diablo's got the same opinion as Raphael. Guess there's no doubting it now. I don't know what the truth is, but let's assume Kondo controlled Clayman and act based on that. If you're paired up with Kondo, be aware of the possibility that he'll try to take over your mind. Yes, Sir Rimuru!
Yes, Sir Reamer.
yes, a reamer.
He's in the room too, okay?
I might be wasting my time with that warning, but it's better than saying nothing. Anyway, we really do need to watch for this Kondo guy. If we're not careful, he might be an even greater threat than Velgrin. So I had everyone keep Kondo in mind so we were all prepared. Now, let's summarize our plan. Gabiru, I want you and your team to answer King Gazel's request for help. Don't try fighting Velgrin, though. She's enough of a danger for you and the other leaders, but she'll massacre your soldiers, probably. That is very clear to me, my lord. Not even I would dare to challenge a true dragon. Ho ho ho. No, we're no match for her. Gabiru and Hakuro seem to understand that well enough. The purpose of sending their reinforcements was mainly to buy time once we rescued Yuki. We'd be handling Velgrind ourselves. But should we leave them to that ceremony? Ultima asked. She was referring to the dead birthday thing Cogli was working on, I supposed. I wouldn't worry about that. Oh, I wouldn't worry about that, Diablo informed me. It takes a great deal of time before that forbidden spell is triggered. At least 2 hours per Walking Dead created, and more than that if you are stuffing more energy into it. It hadn't even been an hour since the ritual began. We'd first have to meet with Yuki, then beat Emperor Ludora, and then if we hurried back, Diablo's right if we're talking about the usual procedure, but Lady Cogley's using a kind of workaround. A workaround? Wait! Right! Velgrin is helping her! Oh, no, wait, sorry, that wasn't Reamer. A workaround? Wait, right, Velgrind is helping her. Diablo seemed to get what this meant, but no one else did, and we really didn't have time for long-winded explanations any longer. Okay, so how much time do we have? At worst, they could create several Walking Dead in 2 hours. 2 hours, huh? Can we defeat Emperor Ludora in just that amount of time? No point worrying over it. We just have to do it, and that's that. I look toward Lapis, and you're the strongest of her creations so far, right? Better than Clayman, anyway. And despite the others being geared for strength or whatever, you sure seem stronger than them. Well, I was specially made, you see. Okay, well, my group's ignoring Cogley's spell then. Ah, are you sure about that? Gabiru seemed surprised. Yeah, think about it, Gabiru. Lapis is pretty strong, but he's not an insurmountable opponent. The other two, I'm sure all of you could beat easily. That was how I saw it. Lapis may be hiding his strength, but he can't fool my eyes. Basically, it didn't feel to me that he had awakened to an ultimate skill. Gabiru would have a tough time, but I think Soe's an even match for him. So if Cogley could create Walking Dead as good as Lapis, that'd be a drag, but anything less than that seemed pretty manageable to me. We can't just leave them be. They could become a threat if we let them grow up, but I don't see this as something I absolutely had to intervene in. If Velgrind is contributing to the spell, then all the better for us. If possible, try to prod her so she can't concentrate on it. If you can't, then you can just leave her. I mean, no point in stirring up that hornet's nest. Gabiru and Hakaru exchanged a glance, then nodded, seemingly convinced, and also, just in case. If she decides to turn on you guys or King Gazel, then I want Ultima and Carrera to take her on. I figured as the most powerful of all my staff, Ultima and Carrera would bide time even against someone like Velgrind. I could ignore whatever happened with Cogley's ritual, but if Velgrind makes a move, the whole army would be decimated. I had to avoid that. So that's why I gave the order. Thanks for counting on us. Servidora's sister or not, I'm not going to give her any quarter. Yeah. We'll see if we can win once we feel her out. I got one... Oh, I think I got these backwards. But anyway. I got one heck of a winning streak going, you know? So I'm going to get as much enjoyment out of this as I can. I like that one being said, like, quietly evilly. It just sounds more sinister.
Yeah, like, yes. Yes.
Anyway, it sounds like I could count on Ultima and Carrera for this. I'll just pretend that I didn't hear about the loss to Zegian. So I thought we had a plan, but one moment, please. I think Ultima and Carrera alone will not be enough against Lady Velgrind. I know this is rude of me after offering to guide you, but I was wondering if I could tackle her as well. Now Testarossa was throwing her hat into the ring. This was a bit troublesome to me. It was an appealing proposal, but if we were striking the core of the Imperial capital, I wanted to attempt it with as much firepower as I could gather. This was an emperor. Even Guy couldn't recognized as a worthy rival. I almost said adversary. Jeez. And he had at least 4 single digits guarding him. If we were taking on someone that high up, I really didn't want to lose Testarossa. At the same time, though, if she could buy some time with Velgrind for us, that'd be pretty helpful as well. So maybe I should take Ghidorah, then. Allow me to take her place, if you could.
Oh.
Sorry,
that's me.
Go
I
for
didn't
it.
know that. Anyway, allow me to take her place then, if you could. It will help us buy at least a little bit of time, and I think it would improve our chances.
That was Soe making the offer, and it sounded like a reasonable one. At the very least, it seemed better than taking Ghidorah. With Benimaru, Shion, Soe, and Diablo, I felt decently sure we could take on pretty much anybody. Okay, let's go with that. Don't disappoint me, Soe.
Yes, my lord.
Hold on.
So,
Oh,
I think he's gonna
I gotta-
sneeze.
bless you.
There it is.
Yep.
There we go.
There
Good
it
dab.
is.
you gotta dab the sneeze, man.
Yep. It locks it in.
All right.
Nah.
The main purpose of Gabiru's team was to buy time and, if possible, eliminate enemy forces, Kondo included. If things went really awry, that was where the demonesses came in. That, I thought, was about the best we could do. Right, that settles it then. And again, Gabiru, don't have your team get killed before we get back. Yes, sir! And so our policy was somewhat hurriedly decided upon. It was at this moment that Vester, who had been watching the screen the whole time, hoarsely shouted out, "Oh, King Kozel has arrived! It looks like..." I looked myself, and there I saw the Pegasus Knights flying in from up high. "Let's hurry. Rendezvous with Gazel's team before they take damage and tell them about our strategy. Leave it to me. I promise that I, Gabiru, will perform this lofty task with sheerly the utmost of brilliance." Great. Now, everybody, let's get moving. I gave out the order, and then one long night began for us. Pardon me. After teleporting Gabiru's group away... There we go. Man, I got stuff on my tongue that just... Yuck.
Yeah.
You're trying to read, and then stuff, like bits of food, get all up in your mouth. All right. After teleporting Gabiru's group away, we joined Laplas on our way to the Imperial capital. I would be taking human form from the start, so I could deal with whatever came our way. Okay, we're here. This is our secret base over at... what's this? It was magic that took us here, but Laplas immediately began acting strange. Even at this point, I was having a terribly bad premonition. Looking around, I found ourselves in a vast hall. I almost said hell. Like none in my own nation. It was lined with intricately carved columns and covered with expensive-looking carpet. I could almost mistake it for a royal audience chamber in an imperial castle, but there was something not quite right about it. Dude. Wait, no! Usually when I do this thing, it always takes me to the right place. This ain't never happened before. Laplas looked pretty panicky as I glared at him. He didn't seem to be lying, but if he wasn't, what the hell was going on here? After a few more swivels of my head, I saw a raised platform about 50 yards away. Something resembling a king's throne was on it. So I guessed it really was some royal chamber. An unimportant-looking person was seated on the chair, and next to him was a beautiful blue-haired woman. There was no mistaking the distinctive buns on her hair. Oh, buns her hair was tied into. It had to be Velgrind herself. Velgrind? Wait! Wasn't she on the battlefield just now? She can't be here too, can she? Teleportation could get her here in time, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Benimaru looked just as confused as I was, and Soe and Shion weren't much different. Are we surrounded then? It appears to be a trap. Diablo broke the bad news to us. I noticed it about the same time he did. Dozens of other people were in this chamber, and they all seemed powerful to me. Damn you, Laplas. You were trying to ensnare us the whole time. Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Damn you, Laplas. You were trying to ensnare us the whole time.
Soe wasted no time confronting our would-be traitor, but he was the last thing on Laplas's mind. That's loony. You interfered with my spell? How's that even possible? Laplas was completely befuddled. Guess he wasn't expecting this either. This didn't strike me as a trap on his part. As we warily eyed the circumstances we were in, a man approached us. Hey, Laplas, thanks so much for coming. I couldn't be happier to see you trick the Demon Lord Rimuru and his friends like this. It was Yuki, dressed in his imperial military uniform and smiling. But, boss! Wait! What's going on? You can quit the act now. Once we get rid of the Demon Lord in here, we win, right? Yuki's words instantly enraged Shion and Soe, but Benimaru, and surprisingly Diablo as well, remained calm as they listened to him, and Laplas speak. It was impressive to see, actually. You guys believe Laplas too? Oh, no. I was thinking of running him through with, once those two let their guards down. Hey! Well said, Sir Benimaru. Kill before you show any external sign of it. The classic rule. What kind of mafia gang am I running here? There's no classic rule like that in my country. Dumbfounded, I persuaded them to wait and see how things unfolded. At the same time, I tried to appease Soe and Shion, who were practically oozing with murderous rage. In the meantime, the argument between Yuki and Lapis had grown rather heated. Lapis was all but begging for his life, swearing up and down that he meant none of this. Please believe me, guys, this time, I promise, I didn't mean to do nothing against any of you. The more desperate he got, of course, the more suspicious it made him look. Yuki really painted him into a corner here, I had to admit. Feeling sorry for Lapis, I decided to end the charade. Hey, calm down, I said, patting him on the shoulder a couple times. That guy's Yuki, but he's also not Yuki, is he? Huh? Unfortunately, I have to assume that Kondo's controlling him. Maybe Damrata beat him. Maybe Kondo sneaked up on him during the fight. Either way, having a mind control expert among the enemy was really starting to make things complicated. If I didn't believe that, we would have been stabbing at each other's throats by now. Oh, right, yeah. Like, it's fun to fool other folks, but when I'm the fool, man, does it grind my gears. You know, like when I can't find the droids I'm looking for.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know. What's up with that?
Look,
Gotta-
the droids.
Gotta love that personality. Finding out I trusted him pepped him right up. It looked like, but it didn't improve our predicament at all. We were still surrounded, and we were still in crisis mode. Didn't expect you to see through it that easily. Here I was hoping you'd be so lost and confused that you'd turn your blades on each other. Brainwashed or not, Yuki was just as mean-spirited as ever. I'm sure that's how he is at the core, and I like to think that I'm mature enough to not let it bother me. Your Majesty, I regret to inform you that my strategy has failed. It was just a silly sideshow anyway. Very good. Now, before battle begins, I was hoping we could have a little chat. Once Yuki addressed the person sitting on the platform, the figure stood up and began to walk. Yuki meekly moved to the side to clear the way for him. Clearly, he was now a loyal vassal of Emperor Ludora. I couldn't completely dismiss the idea that it was all an act, but I'd better not be too optimistic about it. Valgrind followed Ludora as if accompanying him. She looked like a normal human being, apart from her sheer beauty, but clearly that was for camouflage purposes. Myself, I could see it. She had encased herself and the man in front of her in a thin barrier that shut off all possible interaction with the other side. What intimidation. I highly doubt she's fake. I agree. Up close, it's amazing just looking at her, Benimaru replied, nodding at my words. But not everyone reacted like us. You think so? I've trained with Sir Vildora often, so the feeling's familiar to me. Not that I've ever defeated him. Shion, you've been training with him too? And by training, she must mean actual battle in the labyrinth. If they were fighting to the death in there, I could only hope she got some good results from it. But if you can't win, it's kind of meaningless, isn't it? It wasn't really a boast, but it wasn't her being a sore loser either. Yes, a very impressive barrier. But like Shion said, I don't see that much of a difference between her and Sir Veldora. Diablo's opinion seemed closer to Shion's. Did this mean they thought Valgrind wasn't anything special, or was Veldora actually a lot more impressive than I'd believed? I wasn't sure, but even the normally confident Diablo couldn't guarantee a victory for us. That was important. Diablo, despite it all, never lied to me, so he wouldn't claim he could do anything he can't. And I knew what that meant. I'm sure this wasn't quite in your plans, but I thought a meeting between two heads of state would prove rather interesting. Ludora smiled as he addressed me. Wow, he really is Masayuki's lost twin. His hair was an almost shining blonde, though, and he styled it a bit differently. That, and he had blue eyes versus Masayuki's brown. Actually, there were a lot of little differences, but somehow the two of them projected the exact same vibe. And actually, I recalled something odd Masayuki said recently. I've been worrying about my hair lately. What, you balding? Yeah, the stress and all. No, of course not! I've been noticing that my hair's getting lighter in color lately. It's gone from black to more brownish. Maybe I'm just losing melanin or something. You think so? I hope I'm not worrying about it too much. You know, the sort of self-image problem every young man goes through. Or that was how I saw it, but for some reason it popped back into my head right then. It was a concern, but not one I should have been thinking about immediately. Ludora was now right in front of me. You're right, we weren't planning to come out here, but there is something I wanted to talk to you about. Wonderful! Why don't we have a seat? Ludora waved his hand. 2 chairs appeared before us. Some kind of magic trick? I don't know how it worked, but it didn't seem like a chintzy trap or whatever. Atmosphere was key here, so I sat down without hesitation. Benin Maru standing by my right side, and Diablo insisting on the left. Shion swiftly took her place right behind me, and Soe was next to her. Lapis was now seeming very out of place, looked around a little before sliding into a spot to Shion's left. Once everyone took their locations, we were greeted by Velgren's teasing voice. Oh, you're sitting down first? Rather questionable manners. Manners? I don't know jack about those. He told me to sit down, so I did. No need for that, Velgren. He didn't do anything wrong. If he's a demon lord, then he too has a land he rules over. And he and I are equals, I think. That's a real-life emperor for you. He sounded like he meant it, too. How generous. Well, if you're fine with it, I have no complaints. Valgrind also seemed rather easily convinced. I guess she didn't really care much. I wish she'd stop threatening me like that. So Ludora sat on the opposite chair, Valgrind casually standing to his right. Beside him were 4 guards lined in a row, armed with god-class gear. The 4 knights Bernie told me about, I assumed. Finally, standing to Ludora's left was a man dressed in an all-black uniform. He didn't look Japanese to me, so I guessed he was Damrata. Yuki had the nerve to stand next to him, making his position in the hierarchy clear. I had no hesitation considering him an enemy now. Still, this meant that all the Empire's top people except Kondo were here. I brought all my high-ranking officials as well, but we were at a serious numerical disadvantage right now. The Empire had several dozen top-ranking members of the Imperial Guardians here, including 5 single digits, and even Velgrind was on hand. To be honest, I had serious doubts about our chances in a fight. Plus, they even had Yuki. It's no exaggeration to say this was a crisis like none before. I guess from Ludora's words that this state of affairs wasn't Laplace's fault. It had been a setup from the beginning. Funny to think how unveiling it is to have unnerving. Sorry. Funny to think how unnerving it is to have everything go your enemy's way like this. But I kept up my bold demeanor, not revealing what I felt inside. Well, guess you got one up on me today, huh? I considered the possibility that people would be expecting us, but I didn't quite anticipate this. That was a lie. We were aiming for a surprise attack on their elite forces, so I thought we were about to seize the initiative here. No need to be so modest. It was just as unexpected for me. I thought the armored division I sent would be defeated, but the fact that there were no survivors and no awakens stemming from it was beyond any of my estimations. Well, there was one, but Diablo killed him. I wasn't about to tell him that, but really, whoever devised that plan was a real genius in my opinion. Pretty inhumane, maybe, but still. So, who came up with that strategy anyway? I lightly asked, not expecting an answer, but then, rather surprisingly, Ludora told me everything out of his own mouth. As he explained it, the plan was drawn up by Lieutenant Kondo. That I expected, but it turned out the plan was a lot crazier than I thought. First, they'd awaken a few people from the invasion forces. After that, they would pretend to back away and defeat. If we gave chase, the composite division would intercept us. However, since there was a possibility this division had already turned traitor to the Empire, they would be treated as an enemy force as well. Once they were certain about the betrayal, everyone would be eliminated all at once. The Marshal would take on that role. However, that plan kind of fell apart on step 1, so Kondo made some major alterations. Ensnare and capture Yuki's group after letting them run free for so long. Even based on what they knew from the Demon Lord Clayman, Yuki's betrayal was pretty much confirmed by this point. kill off Yuki's group, confirm what he was scheming to do, and then make final adjustments based on that. That left 60,000 people in the gathered composite division, who would then be sacrificed to produce Magicborn. At this point, the Marshal would go into battle and make a flashy display to attract the attention of Guy and the rest. Any would-be troublemakers would be rounded up and killed, all at once. That's why they needed to concentrate their forces on that one point. The advantage of such flashy moves was that it'd make the Imperial capital look thinly guarded. Someone was bound to try attacking it, and it'd undoubtedly be an elite force as well. They needed to be hit with maximum strength. The most important part, chances are the Monster Nation is running short on firepower by now, so the Marshal, the greatest force in the Empire, would take them on. While Guy's eyes were pointed elsewhere, they would take the Storm Dragon, the strongest pawn of all, for themselves. That was the long and short of it. If they were gaining intelligence from the Demon Lord Clayman, it was safe to assume that he was under Kondo's control as well. I only had my suspicions before, but now it was crystal clear. That wasn't even the important thing, though. I was shocked he revealed all that information, but let's not worry about that. There was a certain point he brought up, one that sent a shiver down my spine. Whoa, I thought. Wait a minute. How many marshals or Velgrins would they need to carry out this plan? That's right. I always did find it strange that Velgrin was unleashed on the east city of the Dwarven Kingdom, where the current battle was raging. So who's this woman in front of me? Detect! Her ultimate skill grants her the ability to create multiple identical existences of herself. It's called parallel existence? I spoke the words Raphael gave me, although I wish they were wrong, but reality was merciless as always. Oh, you're aware of it. How clever of you. Fuck! just fuck? Like, I spoke the words Raphael gave me. Yeah, okay. Velgrin's smile was as beautiful as it was terrifying. The more you want to be wrong about something, the more correct you turn out to be, huh? My unvarnished take on this was, how the hell am I gonna beat that? No wonder Testarossa was sure she couldn't pull it off. I was so comfortable with this before because I figured I could call on Veldora here to even the odds. Now, though, I understand that I can't even count on that. According to Raphael, parallel existence is an extremely dangerous power. To the uninformed, it may not seem much different from Soe's replications. In this case, he can control several replications at the same time. It's impossible to tell who's the real one, and no matter how many replications you beat down, that'll never hurt Soe himself. He could also keep churning them out as long as he had enough magicules, which kind of seemed like cheating to me. That's because there's no difference in physical ability between Soe and his replications. So it really is like having multiple Soes on the battlefield or on the field. But let's take a peek behind the curtain. Controlling multiple replications at once is actually pretty tricky. The skill doesn't split his consciousness at all. Instead, he uses thought communication to operate the copies of himself without a time lag. He also uses Mind Accelerate to adjust his reaction times, so it only looks like they're all moving independently without any issues. I don't use replications too often myself because this is really an incredibly difficult trick to pull off. Soe, meanwhile, is a true master of his game, and one of the most thoughtful people I know. An amateur like me could never handle it as well as him. Aww. So,
really
meanwhile,
nice.
Soe's just standing there like...
Can't see me. It's like, oh.
All right, anyway. He's like,
just-
oh,
yeah.
oh, Sir Rimuru, stop it.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
Did
He's just
Soe
doing
write
what
this
they're doing.
chapter? What's happening here?
maybe.
And one other thing, the replication's physical bodies match the caster's body, but their magical abilities always lose out by comparison. The copied bodies don't have full access to the caster's skills. That's why Soe's replications can only use skills that don't consume much magic power. And that's why, if you knew that little secret, it wasn't too hard to tell which replication is actually the real thing. If you're defeated, of course, your replications instantly disappear as well, so it's definitely not an invincibility code or anything. Meanwhile, the parallel existence skill Velgrin had, she could divide bits of her consciousness into every copy. Copy wasn't even the right term any longer. It was simply like having multiple versions of your real self. It meant that even if you killed one of them, as long as there's at least one other alternate of hers left, that could serve as her main one. Plus, she didn't have to split up her magic force at all. Every alternate was connected with the main body, so she could replenish as much magic power as she wanted on any version of herself. There's a limit, of course, but to how much magicules she has overall, so the more bodies she has out, the more that reduces the maximum magic each individual one can tap. Normally, you'd see that as a weakness to leverage, but this was a true dragon, notorious for having scads of magicules. She could replenish her alternates faster than they could use up magic, so even a modicum of usage wouldn't mean much. Frankly, I had no idea how to defeat her. I'm not Testarossa, but I can't blame her for publicly avowing that she couldn't win. I returned Velgrin's gaze, giving an arrogant smile, as arrogant a smile as I could. Well, thank you. I've got a really talented partner, you know. And when it comes to smarts, he's tough to beat. So I guess you think you've trapped us, but can you tell us what you want? In situations like these, bluffing is about all I got left. I had to make them think I knew exactly what they were up to. If it put them off guard enough to fear me, I had it made. But it was clearly not going to work out that way. Aren't you rather confident? The way you refuse to admit defeat reminds me so much of my brother. Meaning Veldora, I imagine. Having a sister like this must have been a real pain to him. Do you see now, Rimuru? I thought I heard her say, but Ludora was talking, so I had to pay attention. What I want? Well, if you're that convinced of your intelligence, I don't think I need to tell you, do I? It's not really helpful, you know. If they wanted to rub us out, they'd be fighting by now. If they instead set up a round table of sorts, that meant there was room for negotiation. I think the answer here might just be that they're trying to win us over to their side. Affirmative. This is believed to be correct. However, they may also be stalling for time. In that case, they may be attempting to defeat the subject Veldora Tempest and add him to their fold. Hey, I did pretty good there, didn't I? I'm half right, at least. Certainly, in Kondo's plans, Marshal Velgrin would be taking control of Veldora. I didn't pay it much attention because I assumed it was impossible at this juncture. But if she had a parallel existence running around, was Velgrin on her way to storm the labyrinth right this minute? It was now an urgent question, so I contacted Veldora through our soul corridor. Hey, how's it going? You fool! Now is not the time for casual greetings. Things are, rather hectic here. My sister is pursuing me. She is outside the labyrinth right now, but at this rate, she's going to storm inside. Yep, sounds pretty busy.
Jesus.
Yep. You gonna be okay? I will have to come out for her. That would beat her laying waste to the labyrinth to reach me. Parallel existence or not, I really don't think Veldora would lose, so I decided to give him permission to exercise his full force. Alright, I'll take full responsibility for the fallout, so just do something about Velgrin for me. Can you do that? Oh, well in that case, allow me to handle everything for you. Great. I ended the call, now much relieved. Leave it to Veldora, and I've got nothing to be concerned about. That, and I now understood what Ludora's plan was. Time to return to the bargaining table. Your mission right now is to try winning us over, and also you're trying to buy time with this meeting so we won't interfere with your fight against Veldora, right? I looked as smug as possible as I laid it on them. Ludora gave us an elated smile. Ah, you're such an entertaining person. It'd be fun to have you match wits with Tatsuya, but there's no time for more diversions right now. If you already know that much, then I don't need to explain matters further, do I? I want you to join us and serve under me. Do it, and I'll guarantee your sovereignty, and grant you the title of Archduke. Ludora! If you appoint a non-blood relative Archduke, you know the nobles will wail over it. I'll live. That's how worth it he is to me if he cooperates. So not just a duke, but an archduke. I think you're supposed to be in the Emperor's bloodline, and the title dies with you, and stuff like that. And Ludora's promised to let me have it? From the Empire's perspective, this must be an unprecedented offer. After all this talk about how they never offered surrender to their foes, too, and how they always subjugated and colonized the nations they conquered, this empire that's expanded through countless wars of aggression was about to give me one of the best deals possible. Honestly, they were rating me a little higher than I ever thought they would, but sadly I already knew my answer. Well, I know that's an excellent offer you're giving me, but the answer is no. But here's a proposal for you. How about we just call it quits here? I don't need reparations or anything, but I'd like us to sign a non-aggression treaty with each other. Judging by how nobody here gave a second thought to the sacrifices they demanded from those who served them, it'd be nothing short of suicidal for me to give in. If I kidded myself into thinking I'd be the first exception in the Empire's long history, it'd be my one-way ticket to ruin. So I firmly refused Ludora's offer. What's more, since I had the chance and all, I expressed my own request to him. Personally, we hadn't suffered any damage, so I wasn't gonna ask for an apology or anything. As long as they swear not to mess with us any longer, I'm willing to just sweep this invasion under the rug. I'm sure some people would complain about that, but if we can settle this without any more bloodshed, I think that's the best approach. I know I was going too easy on them, and I know I couldn't rely much on promises. If we don't trust each other, they're bound to break the treaty at some point. But the most important thing right now is to buy time. By making peace here, we'd have more time to get to know each other. There was hope, I felt, that more time to deepen our mutual understanding could lead to a future where war could be avoided. If we kept fighting like this, we'd have no choice but to take it all the way to the end. And if that's how it was, I still wanted to take a chance on this possibility, however small. But Ludora answered with a cold smile. Ah, I see you are not fit to serve as a ruler after all. You fail to see my mercy for what it is, and you spin a web of nonsense instead. So cocky. Ludora has made every possible concession for you, and you've thrown it all away. They reacted like they had the absolute advantage here, despite having just lost an army of 1 million. They don't really feel deep down that they've lost it all. All the soldiers and officers who perished thanks to his orders were no great shakes. Something about that really frightened me. Yeah, you shouldn't be frightened. You should really fucking be frightened right now.
Mm-hmm.
You're about to find out why. You're all about to find out why. We're finishing this book tonight. And I'm sorry. I'm going to be the one to finish it this time because we've got still quite a few pages to chew through.
We probably could have gone another stream potential. I don't know.
No. Literally, we're at 10:30, and we have 10 pages left.
Yeah.
If we hadn't screwed around so much in the beginning, we probably would be done. All right. That don't really feel... Okay. I believe that human beings are creatures who can learn to understand each other, that over time they will organize themselves into a single will and work together to create a better world. But to achieve that, it is first essential to unify the world through overwhelming military force. Ludora's words might seem like the kind of ideals I go on about, but there was a major gap between us, one that would prove hard to fill. It was so frustrating. We both started at the same point, but he reached the exact opposite conclusion. I now had all the proof I needed of that. I wondered for a moment if he was even more of an idealist than I was, but he wasn't. He claims that only his own righteousness can bring about true justice. He's a dictatorial thinker who refuses to accept the ideas of anyone else. Just as I thought, it's unlikely that we'd ever be compatible. And if we were this far apart in our arguments, it'd likely be impossible to find a compromise through discussion. Humans are creatures with free will, you know. There's no such thing as unchanging justice in this world. There's so many ways people can think about matters, and don't you think refusing to acknowledge this will only sow more seeds of conflict? How foolish of you. My way of thinking is supreme, supremely just. If you keep catering to the selfish whims of the idiotic masses, you know you'll never reach that ideal world of yours. But people make mistakes, don't they? That I cannot deny. That I cannot deny. I do listen to the voices of my most trusted advisors, but I can't listen to all the voices from the people below me. If I did that, we'd be in constant turmoil. He might be right about that, yeah. I feel like I'm about to be losing the verbal argument soon, too. I hated to admit it, but Ludora had been pursuing his career path as a ruler for far longer than I. Well, I don't see the point in further argument. What we want is your loyalty to us, Demon Lord. What we want from you is your loyalty to us. Oh, shit, I messed that up again. God damn it.
Oh.
What we want is your loyalty to us, Demon Lord Rimuru. Abandon your friendship with Guy and come to our side. There's that offer again, no doubt trying to place the pressure on Guy. If I decided to give in to Ludora, I was sure that was going to tip the scales. That, I suppose, is why we've been kept alive up to this point. Still, though, my answer was the same as before. Now that negotiations had broken down, it seemed like a fight was inevitable. Perhaps reading my thoughts, Velgrin smiled coldly and gracefully, waved her index finger at me. 2 light wags, then a video image appeared in empty space, the same kind of principle as my god eye. It showed the current state of battle. What I saw there was shocking. Testarossa, Ultima, and Carrera had all fallen in front of Velgrin. The 3 demonesses, the best fighting force our nation enjoyed, had just been defeated by one person. No way, I muttered to myself. In the video, I could see the 3 of them standing up again. They hadn't lost the will to fight yet, but they were struggling against an insurmountable difference in ability. They couldn't hold out much longer, that much was clear. Do you see how your faithful primals perform before me? I suggest you think carefully. Someone as smart as you should understand that I'm still going easy on them. She didn't need to go into detail. This was a threat. If Velgrin wanted to, she could easily hurt more than just these 3. I don't know what's motivating them, but Ludora's team has made every concession they could for my sake. Now I could see that Gabiru's forces didn't have any time to help the 3 demonesses. Airships littered the skies above the battlefield, Imperial troops swarming down from them. Kondo's forces were on the ground as well, Yuki's former comrades, with the exception of Kagli, who was continuing on with her ritual, were fighting with them against the dwarven army. Tyr? And footmen too? Laplas's shout made me notice those massed annoyances fighting for the enemy as well. It was a chaotic scene, and it didn't look very good for my side. We had hit rock bottom. I could feel Benimaru's concern for me, but I just couldn't give in. I know what you're trying to do. If you could rope me in, that'd be a much easier way to recruit Veldora after all. He's a real free spirit, as you know. So no way he'd take orders from higher-ups like you. He tends to mostly listen to me these days, but still, he loses his temper a lot. Maybe he has trouble dealing with me or something, I don't know. Anyway, that's probably why Ludora wants me so bad. After some consideration, I decided to throw the invitation back in his face, then I tried to find another way out, but I'm not interested in negotiation. Give me a yes or a no. Now I was confronted with a choice. If I refused, I'd be plunged into a battle I had little chance of winning, but if I accepted, I'd be throwing myself into a fight I didn't want. I'd be following the will of someone else instead of my own, and it could lead to all kinds of losses later. You know, you say that we can all unite into one and create a better world that way, but is that a world where everyone can be happy? What? Whether war and hunger are eradicated or not, if your free will's taken from you, then what's the point of living? What you're trying to do is take away the potential of all the world's people. Have you ever thought about that? The potential? There's no need for that. Give people freedom and it could lead them down the path to ruin. It's not what I want, and it's far from what Guy wants as well. So it's only natural that someone must manage them so they don't stray from the correct path, isn't it? I understand that to a certain extent. I won't deny it at all, but are you going to find happiness there? I suppose that, in the big picture, what I'm trying to do is essentially manage humanity. But I still think that, to some extent, you have to leave things to the will of the people. If you're too overprotective, you'll rob them of any opportunity to grow. People are stronger than we think, and I really don't feel we need to control them every step of the way. Happiness? What kind of naive nonsense is that? No matter how much sacrifice it takes, it must be made for the sake of everlasting peace. You don't need the permission of the people who fail to understand even that. A little patience is necessary, after all, for the great joy coming for us all. Man, with the hindsight of volume 16, this makes a lot more sense. I know who he's actually talking to. I could see his point, but I still couldn't agree with it. Ludora was trying to turn his eyes away from the individuals who make up a society. That just didn't seem right to me at all. Well, I can't abide by that. I feel like what you're aiming at will just create more misery for everyone, and I can't accept that. Then you are a fool to not to take my hand. Fine with me. Look, what are you even sitting here being a king for? Is it because you want to act all fancy or have a bunch of toys to play with? What are you talking about? It's for my people, of course. Yeah, right. I like to think I became a demon lord for the sake of all my people, too, but I still want more people than... I want more people than that to have a happy life. There's going to be sacrifices, of course, but I'm working myself hard to keep them as few as possible. I can't just make myself as cutthroat as you are about it. I'd love to make the world a better place without sacrifice, but that's not possible. Look at all the people who died to make me a demon lord, for one. It's not that I regret what I did. I still think they had it coming. But I'm not sure the victims' relatives would be too convinced by my argument. That's the cross I bear, and at the same time, Ludora had his own crimes he shouldn't take so lightly. When he heard my words, he stared at me for a moment, eyes burning, but he immediately regained his composure. How young, he muttered, and how naive. Ludora, don't worry, Valgrind. It's just been so long since I've been so passionate about anything. I failed to persuade you, perhaps, but you seem far too talented to be destroyed by us. That's a bad habit you're developing, Ludora. It was the same with Yuki over there, wasn't it? Your odd hoarding habit as of late confuses me. Quit treating us like toys, I wanted to shout, but I stopped myself. Negotiation was a non-starter now, so it was time to prepare for battle. I looked over my friends. They all looked ready to go. They had been doing their jobs during our conversation, which I was glad to see. We had to beat Ludora here, I made up my mind. So I opened my mouth, but it's too bad we failed to convince the Demon Lord Rimuru. His friend's getting stronger than I thought, you know. He just refuses to listen to me, though, so I thought I'd punish him a little. I won't strike enough of a presence if I leave parallel existence on. I won't strike enough of pressure of a presence if I leave parallel existence on. So how about I break out my full powers for the first time in a while? Oh? He's not listening either. He never did heed a word I said. That's exactly like him, but I couldn't help but turn my attention back to Velgrin. Velgrin was on my mind. I didn't think Veldora was on my mind. I didn't think the invincible storm dragon could ever be defeated, but this was just an unimaginable monster here. There was no telling what could happen next, and out of nowhere, I was in a state of deep concern. Oh, are you worried about him? Then I suggest taking Ludora's hand while you can. Then I won't have to torment my little brother any further. Valgren brought up another screen. This showed Veldora in dragon form, wounded and fighting frantically. I've been meaning to ask you, but how did you ever tame him in the first place? What? I said, how did you get Veldora to listen to you? I didn't really. Veldora and I are friends. That's all there is to it. Oh? So you won't tell me, then? That's too bad. Velgren exhaled, visibly disappointed. In that case, I'm afraid I can't go easy on him. In terms of magicals, at least, he's even above me. Then Velgren disappeared. This was surprising and upsetting in equal measures. We knew that Ludora's goal was to stall long enough to take and subdue Veldora. I went along with that because we were buying time for ourselves as well. Velgren's parallel existence might be nearly invincible, but it has one drawback. Rapid energy depletion. If you eliminate each individual body, you can also deplete the magicules divided between them. Those can't be recovered immediately, so keep it up and you can weaken her on an overall basis. The fewer magicules divvied up, the less often she can use her most powerful moves. That was why I thought Veldora had an advantage, but looking at the screen, even one of Velgren's parallel existences was a bit too much for Veldora to fully defeat. In fact, I could tell through our soul corridor that Veldora was growing flustered. On that screen, floating in midair, I saw the Velgrin that was engaged with Testarosa's group disappear. The 3 demonesses did their best to buy us time, but it was all for nothing. Not good, I thought. Velgrin's power was even beyond my expectations, so they had seen through our intentions and just used them to ridicule us instead. Curious, I imagine. Well, I'll give you one more chance after this battle is over. Perhaps you'll change your mind once you see the error of your ways. Ludora's voice seemed far away to me. It was awful, but there was nothing I could do. Now that Velgrind was gone, I really should have tried defeating Ludora there, but for some reason I had a bad feeling it wouldn't work out, so I decided to watch Veldora fight. In the second screen, Velgrind left for us. A crimson dragon roared. It was the clash of the century, a bout between 2 true dragons. And it was about to get even more extreme. All right, here we go to the epilogue, titled Rage.
Rage!
And no. This is fitting. Listen up. Ears open. Okay, we're starting on page 317. So we're not far from the end of this book. Like, literally, guys. 17, 23. We've got 6 pages. That's it. It was a scene that could only be described as a... Actually, you know what? I want you to go ahead and finish this off for me, Shim. Because you're usually a little bit faster on these than I am.
Okay.
And I've been kind of stammering through it.
Gotcha.
And I want somebody who
epilogue,
doesn't know
Rage.
what's coming to actually read this part. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was a scene that could only be described as a massive kaiju battle. No, really. That's the only way to put it. There were 2 dragons fighting each other, and although their forms were different, they were both equally huge. Velgrin, the flame dragon, was, in her original form, a very refined, beautiful figure. She was more flexible than Veldora, with a body that looked pretty well adapted for flight. What kind of battle approach would she take with that? It was the middle of the night, but the sky was bright. The forest of Jura was ablaze, turning the sky a bright red. The city of Rimuru was safe inside the labyrinth and undamaged, but if we left it outside, it would have burned it to the ground, leaving nothing behind. That much was proven by the large gate that connected the labyrinth to the outside world. It was now thoroughly destroyed, and I was sure the upper floors of the labyrinth had sustained catastrophic damage, too. The battle was now at a stalemate. That was why Velgrin turned off her parallel existences. It was hard to imagine, given all the devastation to the forest, but they were both doing an admirable job controlling their power. We're talking huge amounts of energy clashing against each other, but the battle was actually being fought on a really sophisticated level. They were also evenly matched in speed. Really, Veldora had grown an incredible amount. He had expert control over his powers, letting him fly at very high speeds, and he wasn't losing a single step against Velgrind. He must have been training in secret, and the results of that were showing. From what I could tell, Veldora had an ever so slight advantage. If you simply looked at their power, their magical count, Veldora's was higher. It had gone up since back when he was sealed, and he had padded that with new skills and tricks of his own, leading to these results. Still, I couldn't shake off my uneasiness. Velgrind, after all, had a clear advantage in control over her magic, and now that she was focused entirely on Veldora, the battle was really just getting started. And I have to say, Ludora's breeziness worried me. Velgrind, the stoutest of shields, was no longer in the room, so how could he stay so calm like this? For me, the fact that I could call upon Veldora at any time was a sort of security blanket for me. No matter what kind of crisis I was in, I knew I could get through it with some of his assistance. I'm sure Ludora's a good fighter himself. Guy saw him as an equal, and the way he so easily took over Yuki indicated how much of a threat he was. But I've got an ultimate ability too, and like I did with Benimaru, I have a little trick where I can grant people skills through my own discretion. If I'm being honest, I didn't see the top-ranking Imperial Guardians around as much as a threat. Only the 5 single digits in Yuki were a concern. In particular, that Damrata guy over there. I don't think he's undefeatable, though. Even without counting Laplas, I figure we had the upper hand in a fight over here. That's how I felt about it. But it's also why I was so worried. Why isn't Ludora anxious at all? That was the question. Does he think he has an insurmountable power advantage even without Velgrin? Even so, it doesn't benefit him to take unnecessary risks. What makes him so confident? I had no idea, but I was also curious about Veldora's battle. Velgrin launched a flaming heat attack, which Veldora blocked with a barrier. Then he unleashed a howling wind attack in return, but that was dodged. It was a tremendous battle, and I shuddered at how mythical it felt. This is the first time I've seen Veldora fight for real, and it's beyond anything I imagined. I never thought he'd be an equal match for Velgrind, even after she dominated Testarossa and her friends. If you think about it, though, maybe it's only natural. Veldora had mastered Faust, Lord of Investigation, his personal ultimate skill, and that's why he was keeping it even with Velgrind. His opponent had the edge in skill, but Faust made that seem moot. Excuse me. As Raphael explained to me, his power involves manipulating probabilities. He also had Investigate Truth, a top-level analysis skill. With that, he can immediately gauge all his enemies' abilities and respond appropriately. It's so specialized for combat that I don't even get why it exists. Honestly, I was wondering if there was anyone who could beat Veldor after mastering Faust. That's why I never doubted his victory. Even now, he was unleashing an invisible attack on Velgrind. I couldn't see it on the screen, so it looked like Velgrind was suddenly hit by something out of nowhere. I knew. This was one of the special moves he created, something he called Storm Blast. He'd been constantly bragging about it to me, but actually seeing it in action made me a believer. At first, it just looks like a bunch of meaningless energy waves that happen to intersect at a given point. But by that time the effect comes into play, it's already too late. You've already been hit at that point, so it's impossible to avoid or defend against. It's just totally wacko, this thing he developed. The fact that each individual wave does nothing by itself makes it easily overlooked, so if you don't know what's coming, it's a deadly attack. Storm Blast made a square hit on Velgrind too. I was glad to see Veldora performed as I hoped. It was a relief. But just when I was convinced that he had it in the bag, things started to happen quickly, and in the exact wrong direction. Suddenly, an airship appeared in the battlefield. At its bow stood a man in a different uniform from the rest. It was Lieutenant Kondo. I hurriedly turned my attention to the first screen. Kondo and his team, who should have been standing there, were gone. The ritual had ended the moment Velgrind canceled out a parallel existence. I was apparently so engrossed in all this that I failed to notice.
Report, Forbidden Curse, dead birthday completed approximately 1 minute ago.
A single minute was all it took for Kondo to reach Veldora and Velgrind's battle site. The premonitions wouldn't stop in my mind. I had no idea what he was planning to do, which led to a surge of frustration in my heart that shouldn't have been there. Then another person appeared on the bow of the airship, a man who looked exactly like the man sitting in front of me now. Masayuki. Wait, no, a parallel existence? By the time I realized, it was already too late. Everything after that happened in a split second. Kondo shot at Veldora with a gun in his right hand. There was no way a handgun round would do that much against a true dragon, but the moment the thought crossed my mind, a bullet coursed into him at a truly impossible speed, well beyond the speed of sound, even approaching sublight speed. There was no exit wound, the bullet staying lodged in his body, and then its evil power was fully released. It made Veldora writhe in pain. He'd normally recover at once from something like this, but that extra moment proved fatal. That Ludora on screen reached a hand out to him. I'll let you in on a secret. That's known as Regalia Dominion. It's an absolute dominating force that rules over anything that has free will. Not even a true dragon can escape its control. Ludora in front of me stood up. He was walking out of the room as if his business was done with. Wait! Ah, yes. I did make a promise, didn't I? I'm afraid I've lost interest in you now. But if you serve me, I'll show you a whole new world. Now Ludora couldn't care less about me, and I guess Ludora here was an imposter all along, crafted by Velgrind's parallel existence. It shared the same consciousness as the one on the airship, but even if I defeated him in this chamber, it wouldn't have counted for anything. From start to finish, I was being rolled around in the palm of Ludora's hand. It spelled total defeat for me. Don't you underestimate Veldora. I know I was just being a sore loser now, but I muttered it anyway, but Ludora wasn't pulling punches any longer. He certainly is a true dragon, is he not? It took a lot more trouble than I thought to get a handle on him, but now he's finally under my full control. And he was right. I felt a pain in my chest right afterwards. One so intense that not even cancel pain could alleviate it. It was like someone was trying to pull a soul out of me.
Report, the soul corridor between my master and the subject Veldora Tempest has been compromised. As a result, the skills Summon Storm Dragon and Restore Storm Dragon, derived from the ultimate skill Veldora, Lord of the Storm, are no longer available.
The reason for the pain shocked me. What? You're saying they took Veldora from me? Veldora? From me? God damn it! You asshole! I tried taking a swing at Ludora at the highest speed I could have hoped to achieve. He didn't attempt to dodge it. He didn't need to. My fist flew through the air in vain. He was erasing the Ludora over here as he no longer needed it. And that's your answer? Very well. I would very much have liked to have you on my team. But it's a pity. I suppose my authority isn't quite as all-encompassing as I thought. It'll be difficult to apply any more control right now. What are you? But this has been quite productive, I think. So I'll give you a little more time to mull it over. I trust you'll have the time to do so, because you've been trapped inside this dream fortress since the moment I called you over to it. Let's hope that you'll decide to exit here. Voluntarily. And then Ludora disappeared. On his signal, the rest of the guards there teleported their own way out. I couldn't bring myself to give chase. Such was the intense feelings of loss and rage within me. You asshole! This was all a result of my carelessness. I had planned to take him by surprise, but I fell right into his trap. I thought I had a wary eye on Lapis, but I had anticipated that all along and devised an insidious ruse to take advantage of it. I didn't need Ludora to go over in fine detail. I knew the moment I was called over here, we were currently inside an isolated distortion in space, and getting out would be a formidable job. But I can do anything, and that confidence is probably what led me to be careless without realizing it. I thought I was being cautious, but my opponent was simply one step ahead of me. This is war, and wars aren't something you win every time. I know that. You don't have to tell me. Damn it! I shouted as I punched myself on the cheek. There was no pain, but it only accentuated the tearing ache I felt in my heart. Please, Sir Rimuru, stop! Shion's words didn't reach me. I did it again and again. Then on the fourth shot, Shion stopped me from behind. Not just her. Benimaru, Soe, and even Diablo rushed over to hold me down. I'm sorry. I just lost sight of myself. I know I lose my temper too easily. So thanks, guys. I have my composure back.
No, he doesn't.
That was a lie. Huh? Sorry, go ahead.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, I know. That was a lie. Over and over, the anger poured into my brain. Still, I stood up, trying to quiet my raging thoughts. I was punching myself with everything I had, but my face was undamaged. Before Shion, Benimaru, or anyone else could react, Raphael was defending me against myself. It made me realize all over again just how much everyone was protecting me. That's why, more than ever, I just didn't feel like I could forgive myself. My anger kept brimming over the walls around my heart, as if to make up for the sense of loss. I wondered where I should even try to channel all this anger. No. Now I knew. This was war. You don't want to let up right now. So why don't I take them on with all the power I have? Was this just me venting my anger? Maybe. But so what? The Empire's pissed me off. If you want me, you can have me. I'll give you my destruction and call it a blessing. Those fools have offended me, and in my anger, I'm ready to unleash the power I've constantly been suppressing.
Yeah.
Good to see you once more. This is Fuse. I caught the flu around, sorry.
No, it's goddamn it, you
Read me
son of a
afterwards.
bitch. All right, that's volume 14. I want you guys to know one thing. I want you to. I want you guys to know one thing. I want you guys to know just one little tidbit about the next volume. Rimuru's rage literally breaks them out of the dimension they're in.
He angry.
He angry.
Where's
he
rage
angry.
Way out.
Yeah.
Rise, rise.
No. They all right. Once again, where is Hakuro's advice? You have angered the one person you should have feared. That's all I'm saying.
He basically Vegeta rages his way out of.
I think your rage broke, Rimuru.
Where's the rage, Rimuru?
Rise,
rise.
Guys, that is it. It is officially 11 o'clock. It is midnight for some. I want to say thank you to everyone who hung out with us for this. We are starting volume 15 next week, right? Hang on. Let me check.
No, next month.
Yes.
No, we're starting volume 15 next week. On the 29th, we will be playing games. So we've got 2 more weeks left in this. We've got 2 more weeks left in this month because there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Mondays this month, and even though the first
game is kind of a nice end of a month thing, though.
Yeah, it is. It's a nice end of the month kind of thing. So there it is. We will be starting up volume 15 next week, and you know what? Since we're not going to be doing one the week after, we will do. I will probably have us go to about 11 next time, just so we can get a large portion out of the way. That way, when we come back in February, we'll have at least a little bit less to go through. 15 and 16 are going to be a lot of fun. I'm telling you right now.
It's going to be a lot of stuff.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. Also, guys, for those of you who are checking out, like I am, Solo Leveling, I want to let you know that not tomorrow, but next Tuesday, the 23rd, is when Volume 8 of the manga drops. So if you want to get that, make sure you've got it pre-ordered now. And then for those of you who are reading light novels like me and some of us here.
Like moi.
The Reincarnated as a Sword new Volume 14 drops on Thursday the 25th. So if you haven't pre-ordered that, now's a good time to do that. And of course, last but not least, guys, tomorrow's my birthday. And to celebrate, I'm going to be back here on this channel doing some reviews of Slime episodes, and you never know who might jump in and show up and say hey. So, that having been said, guys, thank you so much for sticking out for so long with us to finish up this volume, and I appreciate it. Any final thoughts as we
That was a hell of a chapter.
as we close this book?
No,
was good.
Now
Yeah,
you
finally
guys saw
getting into
Velgrin.
it.
You guys
Angry.
saw Velgrin. Anybody
Yep.
ready to see the cover for Volume 15?
Angry.
Which
I
I'm
already have it up.
assuming is the fusion of Veldora and Rimuru? Or something like that? Or is it someone else? Am I thinking
Now, I
16?
want you all to understand something. I want you all to understand something really, really important. What you're about to see is not a rageful Rimuru. This is the next evolution of Rimuru.
I was
that
right.
You're about to see. Yeah. He's about to grow up and glow up. Like literally, his form changes from like, you know how originally he was small child, and then when he became a demon lord, he became kind of somewhere around like he looked like
More
he was somewhere
teenage.
around 11 or 12. This is something akin to like a 16 to 17-year-old.
Oh, now he's in teenager.
In the chat, Bagba,
Blah,
chapter
blah, blah, blah.
1,
Yeah.
finding out.
Finding out. That's
Chapter
that's
1,
kind of
finding
funny.
out.
That's kind of funny, but also wrong in a certain way. The thing that pissed me off the most about this, and the reason why I'm like, we need to just read. Next week is just reading. You want to know when Rimuru actually sets up and starts really doing stuff and gets back to fighting?
15,
Oh, God.
16.
Is 15 just him just moping? Oh, please tell
Oh
me he's
no,
not
no,
just
no, no,
moping.
no. There's a lot of stuff that happens in this volume. It's a big volume. I'm not joking around.
It is very thick. I looked at it.
It is a
The
thick
page count.
boy. It is a thick
Yeah.
boy. We literally go all
There's
the
a
way
lot
to
to cover.
389. No,
I bet
further
this
than
one was
that.
a hard volume
No.
to read for.
So that's how we were able to. Oh no, Roger.
We have to get to the end of the book for him to finally start fighting.
389. No, that's not the. No, that's not where it goes.
Yeah, please tell me we're not pulling a Goku here.
The battlefield rages. Let's see. It's about halfway through. Some stuff happens with Rimuru.
It's probably important
but
to set
he's
it
just
up.
kind of standing. It's not. He doesn't really finally take action until
He's probably
like,
just shocked right now, just digesting everything. Like, what the fuck happened?
Also, I'll drop one more thing on you
Drop.
guys. I will drop one more thing on you guys.
Rap.
Yeah. This is the book where we stop one thing and we get another. This is the volume where we get Seal. Ciel. I don't know why I said L like that. Ciel. Seal.
Ale.
So, it's not just Rimuru that upgrades. Anybody want to take
It's
a
Soy
guess?
as well. Sorry.
Okay, so there's his guess. You two got a guess as to what Seal is?
I know
I
who it
know.
is. I
Yeah.
remember. I remember.
It has to be. Yeah.
It has to be what?
It has to be. The Turtle Man, the guy named after the turtle.
Roshi.
Yeah.
No.
The
Moon?
teenage
I mean, I know I was
Moon,
making
what's
all
your
the
guess?
Goku
Has
What
to
was
be.
the question again? I'm sorry.
What do you think is the thing that turns into Seal, that evolves into Seal?
It has to be.
Yeah. I mean, who else?
Oh, Raphael?
Yeah, that turtle.
Hi, my name is Seal. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
I've got free
Is it
will.
where we actually get to physically see her, or is it more of like she just gets the name and then the body?
Oh no.
No.
There's like a straight up upgrade. This is crazy how this works. It's not just that. All right. So Raphael likes to play around with skills that belong to Rimuru's genealogy. Imagine taking that concept and evolving it to the next level.
Oh, so they could like combine stuff or make stuff.
It gets so
That could be
much
interesting.
crazier. It gets so
That'd be
much
crazy.
crazy. Imagine the sheer power level up all of Rimuru's people are gonna get when that thing starts just handing, like, all right, you know what? You name all the strays. It's my turn. You get a skill, and you get a skill, and you get a skill. It's like, and they're
I'm
all
console control,
I
bitch.
get a
Yeah.
name.
But here's the thing. Yeah. Well, finally named me yourself, did you?
All right, anyway,
You just couldn't help it.
but yeah, man.
Do I look like a stray to you?
You look like the annoying voice inside my head finally personified.
Do you
into a
want me to
person.
answer that, or is that a rhetorical question? Or
All
You're
right.
in my head. You should know this.
no, you
No, you.
Uno reverse.
Their
I
comeback
asked you
is
first.
getting stronger.
All right, here you go. Here is new Rimuru.
Ooh.
Why does he look like he's standing on an egg yolk?
That's literally himself. He's standing
I
on
know it's
himself.
like him mirrored, but then it's like you got the white that he's
Breakfast.
like, yeah, like an egg.
Yes,
like a Rimuru egg.
clearly it's Rimuru breakfast.
He's holding his finger out. It's great.
All right, so I hope everybody's looking forward to that. I will see you guys soon. Until then,
Yeah.
all of you watching the stream, take care, and I'll see you hopefully tomorrow. Yeah. And I'm doing another cozy raft stream with Leafy on Wednesday. If you guys want to come check that out. And yeah, we will be scheduling the next Hugs with Steve thing. She's gonna be doing the next one, and I'll be there to kind of guide her through. And then next month we'll do another. We're gonna do once a month with Steve. So if you guys like trolling me, make sure to come by my channel and troll me with Steve stuff. Steve gives hugs.
Okay.
Oh, you know I love to troll
Steve
you.
Gibbs Pub. What's that?
It ain't cheap to troll me.
Money.
I was gonna say, is that money?
Yeah. It's not
mean-
cheap
I don't
to
know
troll
what
me.
they're
All I gotta
saying
do
right
is just
now.
say
Chad,
one
can you
word.
I need
What?
Chad to be my ears right
You're not trolling
now.
me. You're not trolling me with
My
that one. I'm
headset
just like,
died.
there's another one added to the list. Like, you're not offending me. You're offending the others at this point.
You're offending Santa. For your name on the
Fair.
naughty list.
Santa, but the letters are rearranged, so it's actually Satan.
Satan. Yeah. Satan.
Satan, Santa, it's all the same thing.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah. Sandy
guys, thank you so
could
much.
probably
We'll see you
find
next time. Bye-bye
Swan.
for now.
Goodbye.
Put my earbuds.
Bye bye.